Oh, well. All right, let's go start streaming. I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to do this. And this. I actually don't need this up. Okay. And I think that's all set up. I think we're good to go everywhere. All right. If you are a friendly or you want to come up and join me today, please feel free. The guest box is open. We can change the background every once in a while if this isn't working. I do not have the next Auntie sermon for you yet, but I am working on it. It's a good one. It's about Zilpah. That's who we're going to talk about next. In case you don't know, Zilpah is Rachel's maid and Rachel's slave. The word is slave in the Hebrew there. And once again, they just use her body to produce babies. So I try to bring like a different little aspect to each story, even if some of these stories feel like exactly like the last story. You know what I mean? Like we're trying to glean something new from it, if you will. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. Good morning, YouTube. In case y'all don't know, oh, hi, Oppo. How are you? Um, this is my goal to get new equipment, but I first need a new phone because, as I've told everybody, I ruined that jumping in my pool to save my doggy, and so I have to get a new phone first. Hoping to get that in the next week, and then I will be upgrading my equipment, and my goal is to just be more present on YouTube. I want to create more content for YouTube. I want to do subscriber only lives over there. So if you haven't followed me on YouTube yet, I am CrystalJae, or just look up critically CrystalJae on YouTube. You should be able to find me. And yeah, so we're trying to build the YouTube community. As best we can. Good morning, Ty here, 3 Pips, Silly Goose, Rav. Good morning, everybody. If you are a friendly and you want to come up, hang out with me today, the guest box is open for you as well. I don't want to have a huge panel, but I'd love to bring up a couple of you to hang out with me and we can talk to people. Again, I could try different backgrounds if this doesn't work, but we'll see how it goes. Maybe somebody should tell Joel that when he gets done cooking today, he should send people over here. Like he could just say, hey, now go visit my friend CrystalJae. Go talk to her for a little bit now that I'm done with you. I don't know. It's just an idea. I know you are. You are working, huh? Wolfie is loading. Well, maybe not. Wolfie, you're going to have. Oh, wait, there you did. You loaded, I think. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can I get your age for TikTok purposes?
I'm 30.
All right. And are you a believer or a non-believer?
I'm deconstructing from atheism and Satanism.
Oh, we already talked about this. It was a really dumb time the first time you tried it, and it's even dumber now. So you should get a new spiel. But go talk to Joel Reed's Bible and tell him Crystal sent you. He's live right now, and he'd love to talk to you. Because I'm not talking to you. You're so stupid. For you to think that atheism has anything to do with Satanism is ridiculous. And to think that you could deconstruct from a non belief is also ridiculous. Deconstructing, believing in nothing is really weird, dude. Now, I'm not bringing you up again, Wolfie. You don't even understand what atheism is. You think that you can deconstruct non belief. That doesn't make sense, pumpkin. No, I do. I want to know, why do you believe? And you want to keep pretending that you're deconstructing from atheism, and you're not. Why don't you just come up and tell people why you do believe what you believe? Why don't you actually fucking share your real thoughts instead of being weird and trollish? It's so off-putting, and nobody's coming to Jesus because of you. Like, you're not doing the Lord's work. You're just being weird. I'm not trying to help you. Who said I was trying to help you, you weirdo? I'm here to have conversations. I'm here to just talk. I'm here to learn about people, and I'm here to engage in those conversations. I'm not, I don't know why you thought that I was here to help you. Nowhere does it say, hey, I'm here to help you. Actually, it says, help us reach the goals. So if you want to help me, you could tap that screen. You could help me with my gift goal. You could, I don't know, subscribe to my channels or something, but I don't say, hey, I want to help you. Hey, Dina, good morning. How are you? Good to see you. Does it say, I am here to help people with deconstruction? If I was here to help people with deconstruction, it would be deconstruction of harmful religions, not deconstruction from your pretend fake atheism that you don't even understand. You're not okay, Wolfie.
Okay, so we had a discussion the other day. We touched on a topic, and I actually wanted to ask people here what their thoughts on this. So people are deconstructing from whatever they are, whether it was like a cult, Christianity, or what.
Right.
How do you view your deconstruction, and how long do you think it would take for a normal person to deconstruct?
That's a very good question. I view my deconstruction as a process. It is a daily process. It is, and I feel like it's going to be like a lifelong process, and I'm okay with that because I was a Christian for 40 plus years. So I was indoctrinated into the religion. Hey, twin. And because I was indoctrinated into the religion, and it was so, it permeated every part about who I was, including my entire personality. So I don't think that that's something you just get over. I don't think you just wake up and go, I don't believe anymore. And so none of that affects me anymore. I think it deeply affects me. And because Christianity stems around supremacy culture, I have to, like, clean out all the cobwebs from that shit, right? So that deconstruction is going to be probably lifelong.
And do people maybe find this as a type of like a PTSD?
Oh, I think there's some people who can have PTSD from the religious trauma because many of them were SA'd by pastors. And I have one friend who was SA'd by her father, who was a pastor on Saturday nights and then had to sit in the pew
Horrible.
on Sunday morning.
And then, so like, I've had a lot of people ask me about like mine. Mine started in my early teens, and back then we didn't have the.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh no, we could fall.
I'm
So,
sorry. I'm listening, but I have to get up. But I'm listening. Okay.
Okay. So in today's technology age, we can research and find all this stuff out, and try to put the pieces together a lot faster. When I deconstructed back in the 80s, I'll give away a little bit of my age there. I had to like ask people. I had to go to like libraries. I had, it took a little bit of work, but like things started clicking in my head, and I don't think I don't think it was a very long time, like I've drawn it out. I came to a conclusion relatively fast that what I was believing in, I myself perceived it as not real. And so that's what I wonder is like, how are people like deconstructing, maybe help others out with this? Like what tools, what things have worked for you to be able to take you away from that? Myself, I started learning about, I would say, different religions. So I started really reading up like actual books on all different types of religions and cults and stuff, and trying to, discern, the differences. And a lot of it, I find, it all comes back to about the same principles as like Christianity and stuff. So lately I've started with the Luciferian faith, of where basically you're empowering yourself and growing yourself as a person and always seeking enlightenment and trying to grow yourself and not like using an entity or a deity or anything. And I've found that that's working best for me.
That's
and so
good. You have to do what works best for you, Lama. You really do. I'm gonna stop for a minute because I want to say hi to people real quick. But first, welcome to the panel, Twin and Dark Knight. Thank you for being up here. I'm gonna go ahead and say hi to Lucky real quick though. Okay, Lucky, can I get your age for TikTok purposes?
Yes, ma'am. I'm 18.
Okay, and are you a believer or a non-believer?
I am a believer.
Okay. So why do you believe? And I assume that would be in the Christian God. Is that correct?
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Why do you believe?
I believe in, God in general, just because of cosmology. If we go more in depth with cosmology, contingency argument is the main reason. And then historical and archaeological arguments as well with why Christianity more specifically.
What about archaeology? Because there is no archaeological evidence for Christianity.
Well, also, the Bible hasn't been disproven archaeologically either.
You don't disprove something
you can.
like that.
You can. But no, there is archaeological proof, like, for example, Lot's wife, and the story of Lot's wife. They found a pillar where it was all up in Saul's, the only pillar was Saul, and had human or live DNA still in it.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it did. You can go and you can look it up. Feel free.
That is absolutely not true.
It was found by a non-Christian organization who's does archaeological studies.
No, it's not.
You're just saying no, it's not, but you're not supplying any proof of it. No, it doesn't.
You haven't supplied any proof of what you just said. What are you talking about?
You want me to give you the site?
No, I want you to give me the source of the person, because if it's Ron Wyatt.
You what?
If it's Ron Wyatt.
Yeah, it's called.
Dark, I cannot hear you. Hang on. What? I can't hear you, Dark.
Me either. I think it's more important if I can hear you. Oh, damn it. Damn it.
You'll come back, right?
Yeah, but you won't be on top of it.
We're looking up Lot's wife, okay?
Yeah, I got it right here. The website is salvaguide.com.
No, I'm not going to that. I'm not going to that.
It's an atheist site. You do know that, right?
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. You're not doing anything at all. You're not even looking it up. You're not even giving me the benefit of the doubt.
It's not even peer-reviewed.
No, it's literally right in front of my face. I have it, and it is a profound atheist site, yes.
What is the name of the site? I'm sorry.
Thank you, finally. Okay. Salvaguide.com.
Salva, S-A-L-V-A, guide?
S-L-A-V-A, guide.com.
S-L-A-V-A, guide.com.
And then Lot's wife pillar should be after, and it should take you right to the site. It will tell you the story about Lot's wife, and then you'll
Hang
also
on one
find
second.
pictures of it.
Okay, don't talk the whole time, okay? Like if you talk the entire time somebody's
Well,
trying
you
to
asked
look
me a
at what
question, I'm giving you an answer. So
no,
don't ask a question if you don't want me to
excuse
talk
me,
to you.
you answered it already.
I know you were sitting here and saying, no, it's not real, and then you finally want me to go and
you
look it up.
answered. Shut
And so
up. Oh my God, shut up.
instead of being a heretic, an annoying bitch, actually do it.
Oh, get the fuck out of here, you little cunt. Okay, let's go look at what he brought up, okay? Because I don't listen to men who call women bitches, okay? You got the wrong fucking panel for that, okay? Yeah, we don't do that, okay? SelvaGuide.com is not an atheist site. It is a private Israel tour guide travel business website by a guy named Selva Bazarsky. So you're just a fucking liar. So there you go. I don't know. There we go.
I was just about to say this shit too, Crystal. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Very disrespectful.
There is no archaeological evidence that confirms Lot's wife literally turned into a pillar of salt. What does exist is a real place in the right region that makes the story believable to people because there's salt formations from the Dead Sea. But there's no archaeological evidence, and that was not an atheist website. He just lied just to fucking lie, so that's weird. That's weird. And I probably just to call somebody a bitch too. I don't know. But hey, Tommy J, how are you today?
I'm good. I thought he was about to start quoting Matthew, when Jesus called that woman a bitch. I was like, damn, he's about to like quote scripture.
Yeah. He better go say, 5 Hail Marys and 3 Our Fathers and repent and all that stuff.
The Hail Marys is crazy. I grew up Black Baptist. We don't do Hail Marys. My grandma was like, what the fuck is so special about Mary? I said, Granny, she was 12.
I know.
Granny, she was 12. What the fuck is so special about her? I guess she grew up around that shit too. Why do I not believe?
Yeah.
I was having a conversation with a preacher, uncle of mine that's a preacher. I should say it that way. Great uncle. Really, he taught me how to play drum. Sorry, got a phone call. He taught me how to play drums. So like really has a great impression on my life. So now I call him and, pick his brain about what he thinks is going on. The reason why I couldn't be a believer today in this time, in this social climate, even if I hadn't started my deconstruction 10 years ago, I think it would be because of the accountability. The people who are being made fun of in like the Drewski skit and
that's such a great
in all these different spaces, not even just being made fun of, but just being put on blast, Donnie McClurkin. A lot of these people, I knew their ministries, front hand and watched their ministries grow. It is because of their faith in this God that their ministries grew. It is because of their faith and their belief that they have made such an impact on Christianity this far. Now, when they get blasted for groping a young man before he goes on stage to preach the word of God to the people of God, this is a reflection on your God and not on Donnie McClurkin. I want Donnie McClurkin to be all of who he is. You know what I'm saying? I want him to keep making good music. I want him to keep singing his Luther Vandross butt off. But the idea of him being scrutinized for his desire because of the church, I think is a criticism on God. It's incumbent upon God to respond to that, not the believers. People keep trying to say, "Oh no, he was talking about this believer. Or he was talking about Donnie McClurkin. Or he was talking about Todd. Or he was talking about Bishop TD Jakes." But is he? Because I'm pretty sure TD Jakes was talking about God when he said, "Have you ever been swallowed up?" Nasty choice of words when people think you swallowing up other men. But he was talking about God. God led him to a Diddy party.
Yep.
Is my point. So I can't take away that responsibility. That's why I'm not a believer for anything, baby. They like, damn, you ain't got no Wi-Fi.
Look at my phone. It's
Hello.
so good. Hey, Midwest, how are you? Can I get your age for TikTok purposes?
48.
And are you a believer or a non-believer?
I am a non-believer.
All right. And why don't you believe?
Well, I used to be a believer for a long, long time, and had doubts and questions, so I started researching specifically the characters that are depicted in the Bible, and I found a lot of conflicting evidence that suggests these people never existed. One, the most important, is Jesus. For his entire life, supposedly, all the teachings and all the sermons, I guess, or whatever he gave, there's not one word written by Jesus. Jesus never wrote a book. He never wrote a scroll. He never wrote anything.
Nope.
Then when you keep digging, you find that a lot of so-called Bible scholars or whatever, they have inconsistencies in their evidence for certain people. There are time frames that are out of whack, saying people did something after they were already gone, or thousands of years later after they, supposedly died. When you look at Christianity and the Bible, it seems to be kind of a bit of a copy and paste of the Hebrew religion, only words and text are changed. The word Christ itself is a partial word of another word. I think it's Christians or something like that, which doesn't really translate as a high priest or nothing like that. It's more just like a regular person. There were many people named Jesus in those days. There are lots of inconsistencies in the Bible and things that don't make sense. Time frames are really, really off. If you look at dates of things and the time of when things events supposedly took place, they are very inconsistent and inaccurate. So I've come to the conclusion that, religion was made up or pretty much ripped off from another culture and conformed to what people wanted it to be in order to, in a way, control people and get people to believe in something that doesn't really exist, but have a following. If you look at modern day churches, they are $100 billion corporation globally. They continue to pull people in and ask for money, but then their output to the community is not as significant as it should be. The corruption among lots of pastors and ministers. There's so many things that suggest that this is false. It's made up, and people are gullible. People spend hours, days, weeks practicing, praying, or whatever. And when you show them evidence that, hey, some of these things, don't make sense or don't add up, they crash out on you and they get really angry.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It's like, okay,
that's what happened earlier. I got called a bitch.
Yeah, and it doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? Because if you walk up to a tree and you say, hey, this tree doesn't exist, that doesn't change the fact that it's right in front of you.
Right.
You know what I mean? No matter what you say.
Hang on one second, please, gentlemen. Hang on one second. Evil Llama, I'm going to drop you down, but thanks for coming up. I really appreciate you. I just want to keep the panel smaller, and there's more people requesting. James, can I get your age for TikTok purposes?
Yeah, I'm 18. I just wanted to address a couple of things Midwest said.
Oh, wait, well, that's not what we're doing here right now. Right now, we want to know, are you a believer or a non-believer?
Yeah, I converted to Catholicism. I was previously atheist.
Oh, okay. And so you were not raised in any religion. You were raised an atheist?
Yeah, I was raised in a non-religious household.
Oh, and what made you convert to Catholicism?
Just studying theology, in all honesty, looking into the various religions, Islam, Judaism, the various Abrahamic religions, and I
Why'd you
feel
say
that there is
Abrahamic
sufficient.
religion?
Well, no, I've checked out the other ones, not as in depth. For example, I haven't read the Hindu Bible, but um, so yeah, I believe there's sufficient evidence to believe in a resurrection.
And what
I'm
evidence
not a
would
scholar.
that be?
And then continue to look in the Bible. I believe the Catholic Church is the church that Christ found. And
What
you know,
evidence would there be that of Jesus's resurrection outside of the Bible?
well, why does it have to be necessarily outside of the Bible?
Because the Bible is the claim. So if I claim something in a book and I say in my book that I beat, I don't know, I couldn't think of I beat Magnus Carlsen in chess. I think people would want to know that there was some evidence outside of my
Yeah.
book.
Yeah. So I suppose we can start with the general scholarly consensus with what atheists and even non-Christians believe. The vast majority of scholars at least recognize that, Jesus was a real man who existed and was crucified
But
for a
that
sinful
wasn't
man.
my question. My question was about the resurrection specifically. You said there's like evidence. What evidence is it that any human being ever has risen from the dead? Because he's not the only one who claimed it.
Oh yeah. Why don't you think the Gospels in this instance would be
I already
not
told you why. They're the claim. They are the claim. Now I need evidence.
But I mean, it's still historical documents.
No, it's
So.
not. They're not historical documents. They are religious claims that don't even line up. They contradict each other. The claim is weak. The claim is not consistent. The claim is has inaccuracies, contradictions, and anachronisms. So, what outside of the Bible can verify the claim that the people who followed this religion made?
Yeah, there's not a secondary source outside of the Bible from that
So there
exact
is
time.
no evidence. So when you said there's evidence for his resurrection, what
Well,
you
that's not
meant
true.
was that there's a Bible claim.
Well, you just don't believe that evidence is sufficient enough.
Well, because it contradicts itself, because there's errors, because there's problems in this story. It doesn't make sense. When one book tells me that he went and was crucified at one time, and another book tells me a different time of day, and they are very specific times of day. Yeah, there's a problem with that story. Suddenly, I don't know. I don't really believe you. Y'all got a different story for what was his last words. We got a different story for every single part of the story. And I have a problem with that. I have a problem with where the stories came from. I have a problem with that many of the stories were left out because people didn't like them, even though they were written at the same time by similar people. There's a problem when we have all this cover up and all this weirdness. There's a problem with the evidence.
So regarding the first point about the time of day, I actually saw a Trent Horn video about that. Look that up if you ever have time. And then as far as Jesus' last words, the Gospels never say what his last words are.
Yes, they do.
They don't say specifically. So, sorry, can I please speak? So there's different, in historical documents, there's different accounts of things. People witness different things, right? So some person may only remember this being said when the other person only remembers this being said. So
Yeah, but
just because.
James, the claims are all in the Bible of these different times, and you're saying they might have seen it different ways. These are all claims. What Crystal is proposing to you is that a claim doesn't defend itself. You need evidence to follow up that claim so that we can determine which of the Gospels are believable or and which ones are not, or whether all of them are wrong. So if you have any evidence for Jesus or his crucifixion outside of the Bible, then that's what's being asked of you right now.
Also, James, I just want to be clear on something. When you read the book, for example, in Luke, it specifies that he uttered words, and then it says that he took his last breath after that. So that's quite literally saying those were the last words of Jesus.
Exactly what I was going to point. I was just going to read it. I was going to 22:34 right now, where he does say it.
Can I please speak? I've no offense to any of you.
James, I'm the host, and if I'm speaking, no, you're not going to talk over me and speak. What the hell, dude? Calm down. I am giving you a chance to speak. Tommy said something. I wanted to reply to what Tommy said, and now I will give you a chance to speak. But I want to go to Luke 22:34 to show what Tommy said, okay? Just relax. We're going to let everybody speak. Jesus predicts Peter. Okay, all right, good. Good. 23:34. I'm sorry, I said 22:34. We're going to go back a little bit though. Two others also. We're going to 32. 23:32 in Luke. Two others also who were criminals were led away to be put to death with him. When they came to the place that is called the Skull, they crucified Jesus. There were the criminals, one on his right and one on his left. Then Jesus said, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. And they cast lots to divide his clothing, and the people stood by watching. But the leader scoffed at him, saying, He saved others. Let him save himself if he is the Messiah of God, his chosen one. The soldiers also mocked him, coming up and offering him sour wine and saying, If you are the king of the Jews, save yourself. There was also an inscription over him, This is the King of the Jews. So that's one version of how he died. But we're going to go to, and then on 43 it says, sorry, there's more. Oh, it says, one of the criminals who were hanged there kept deriding him and saying, Are you not the Messiah? Save yourself and us. But the other rebuked him, saying, Do not fear God, since you, this is weird sentencing. I'm sorry. Do you not fear God, since you are under the same sentence of condemnation? And we indeed have been condemned justly, for we are getting what we deserve for our deeds. But this man has done nothing wrong. Then he said, Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom. He replied, Truly I tell you today, you will be in paradise with me. Does he say tonight? Paradise. It was now about noon, and darkness came over the whole land until 3 p.m, while the sun's light failed, and that curtain of the temple was torn in two. Then Jesus, crying with a loud voice, said, Father, into your hands I commend my spirit. Having said this, he breathed his last. Those were his last words according to Luke. So yes, that is what it says, James. You may now address that. And we can go to a different one if you want to see how, again, they do say they're his last words.
Okay, so first of all, there were a few premises that were said. So if you don't mind if I address one by one. First of all, Tom, I believe your name is, you said prove his existence in itself. The general scholarly consensus, the vast majority of scholars already acknowledge that he exists and he was crucified. Whether or not he was resurrected is a different.
So what is their evidence? You saying that they say he exists. They agree with you, right? What is their evidence?
Early records from Josephus, Tacitus, and the vast majority, like over 95%, would agree that he was existed.
Well, let's take a look at that, shall we? So what about excuse me, you just said something and I want to address it, and then you start talking over me again. Stop. Josephus in Testimony of Flavium, Antiquities 18.3.3 is an interpolation. It was added later. So no. Antiquities 20.9.1, Jesus, son of Damius, who is called the Christ, may be a scribal note. So Josephus isn't evidence of Jesus. Is there another one you want to throw out
Yeah.
there and pretend like we don't
Josephus
hear?
is the
Sorry,
worst way to try to
I'm sorry,
prove Jesus.
can I please speak respectfully? So regarding the first one, yes, there is one from Josephus that was later altered. No one's denying that. It's the scholarly consensus. But I don't think you recognize over 95% of scholars, this is a factual thing, agree that Jesus existed and crucified. Even atheists. This isn't
Listen,
a
James,
this
James,
isn't a claim
listen to
about
me. Listen to me. Listen to me. Nope, I'm going to mute you for a second.
no, let me
One,
speak.
I don't,
That's so
no,
intellectually
no,
dishonest.
I am talking. Just a minute. Again, if I
Yeah,
talk,
because you
you shut
interrupted.
up.
You talked because you interrupted.
Are you guys, is anybody my mod up here? Because
Ave
I
Maria
really,
Purísima, sin pecado concebida. Adiós.
Here goes the crash out, like I told you. As soon as you show them evidence, the first thing they do is crash out.
If you would let me speak, I can maybe give you evidence.
James, shut the fuck up.
Ave Maria Purísima, sin pecado.
It's not your space to speak whenever you want.
Yeah, but you can't interrupt.
There you go. I got some tongues for you too, bitch. Okay, listen.
Respectfully, you need
I
to
want
mention
to address what you're fucking saying, but you just won't shut the fuck
Yeah, because
up,
you interrupted.
dude.
I didn't.
I don't want to keep doing this. It's so annoying.
Out.
So annoying.
And see how they always crash out when you show them direct evidence. The first thing they do is crash out, and it's just, for me, it just fuels more of my disbelief in it, in the deconstruction.
I just really don't understand. Like, first of all, don't just throw things out there and then pretend like we don't know what if I just throw Josephus out there, then I can hurry and go to the next thing and she won't address it. Then when I stop to address it, because I'm not going to let you do that. You're interrupting me, dude. You're not going to gish gallop. You're not going to talk super fast, throw a million facts out there and think we're not going to address them one by one. Grow the fuck up. You're 18. You have a lot of fucking growing up to do. Okay. Learn how to have an adult conversation. You say one thing, you let people respond. You keep saying we don't let you talk, but we do. The thing is, you say 27 things when you're talking and don't allow us to address them.
And they always want to go to Josephus, and he's like the worst one because of his contradictions.
Sweetheart, I'm not having a debate, James. That's probably the problem. You thought this was a debate space. This is not. Do you see debate anywhere up there? It is a conversation space. We want to talk and have a conversation, but you don't know how to have one. So therefore, that's the problem. We're having a problem there. But Josephus is not. It's not a good person to bring up about proving that Jesus existed. Oh, by the way, what I was going to
converting to Catholicism in 2025 is just also repugnant. Like, what are you doing?
He was
What are
not
you
an
reading?
atheist before. There's no way, because you don't just go, I was an atheist and I decided to study only the Abrahamic religions at 18. Wonder why.
What I found kind of curious about that is because I grew up in a Catholic household and I became a witch. Because I was sick of the fucking horse shit and the hypocrisy, and I'm like, no, I'm just gonna do my own thing, stay in my lane, and grow herbs. All right,
awesome. Awesome. That sounds like a much better plan.
Yeah, I was staying muted for that whole thing. I was letting him dig his own hole, and I was doing the comment thing there in the basement, with some other home slice. I'm like, yeah, my one comment that got a lot of flack. I'm like, yeah, history is written by the victors. Okay, the people that survived whatever conflict that happened, they get to write history and it was written by people that were long gone before you were even a thought in your the fucking 4 times great grandparents, soul. Okay. And it was written by human goddamn beings. Do we know it's true? Fuck no. That's why we call it faith. right?
Yep. Yep. I do want to address something he said, though. He said the scholarly consensus is that Jesus, died and was crucified or whatever. And I want to clarify something that he's saying. Yeah, the scholarly consensus kind of is that right now, but actual scholars will tell you that they don't even care in the mythicist position. They don't argue it because to them it doesn't matter. So they say, fine, Jesus was a human, but not all of them actually have ever cared to look into that. I, on the other hand, am kind of a mythicist. I lean toward mythicism because I'm starting to realize that this Jesus was probably more an amalgamation of many of the blood cult leaders of the time. And they just kind of, created him to start this shit in the 2nd century. That's the way I look at it. I don't see any evidence outside of these scriptures that are mostly from the 2nd century that he even existed.
Well, also a lot of the things that they describe that Jesus did, as far as the turning the blood into wine or walking on water, a lot of those are accounts from other religions who believe that their God or their Messiah or whatever did the same thing. So it's almost like a ripoff. It's like, oh, you just changed the name of Jesus, but you're saying something that earlier religions or other cultures had said too. Almost the same thing as far as the blood turning in wine, walking on water. So it's almost like the people in that time, that was just kind of a common thing that they believed gods did, or somebody who was holy did. It's, oh, he was a Messiah or a descendant of God or something. He must have walked on water. So they said Jesus did that too. He turned blood into wine. It's like, oh, okay, you just kind of mocked what was kind of a common belief of what a I guess unhuman supernatural person would do, a god,
Exactly. Go ahead, Rylan. Is it Rylan or Raylan? How do I say it?
No. Again, dipping into like ancient history. Do you know where the term disaster comes from?
No. Mm-mm.
Well, it is ancient Latin for dis aster. Dis being bad, aster being star, as in bad star. They used to think that comets were portents of doom back in the day. Well, now, we have Halley's Comet that comes by every 86 years or some crap like that. But back then, these are primitive human beings. They didn't fucking know. So now, we fucking know shit. Yeah, it's just a fucking ball of rock and ice, and it goes around the goddamn sun. You say hi to it, once in a lifetime, Right. The Jerusalem Star is another one. Astronomical thing. The Jerusalem Star is actually the convergence of Jupiter and Saturn together when they come across and they shine bright like a diamond if you're here in the northern hemisphere toward the southwest. And I'm not sure where it would quantify there in modern day Israel. But yeah, the Bethlehem Star was the convergence of Jupiter and Saturn, which happens once every 800 years. It actually happened.
I don't even believe that.
3 years ago.
Star story. Stars don't move. Stars don't land over houses.
That doesn't really fit. But what you said is kind of a good point.
They didn't know any better back then.
Hang on real quick, guys. Hey, Tommy, have you read this book? Is it good? Is that a good recommendation?
So I'm in the middle of it, and I picked through it. There's different chapters you can look through. I will say it leads me to other sources that I think that are important to read historically. This book, I don't know if I can verify that it does a good a non-biased compilation of these stories. But this book has been around forever. Kersey Graves, The World's 16 Crucified Saviors. If you want to look at other stories or know about other stories about the crucified saviors, this would be a good place to start. You can't just quote this book. You got to use the resources in this book to do your own research and determine what you think off of the evidence. But it does point you to evidence of other nations having the same stories of divinity, of miracles, of a miraculous birth, virgin birth, the Trinity. It points out all of these things that were attributed to so many, well, 16, at least 16 other saviors. These are the accounts of it. It does a pretty good job of pointing you in the direction.
That's pretty cool. Thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate you.
I've never heard of that. I've never heard of that book before. Who'd you say the author was again?
By Kersey Graves. I'll put it in the comments.
Okay, thank you. I'll just screenshot it that way. I can go look it up. I'm always eager to learn, just read new stuff and just, I mean, I have my own way of doing, but I don't mind learning.
Hi, Crystal. I have a quick suggestion.
I got my thing. I stay in my lane.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
Dark Knight.
Quick suggestion. The next Christian that comes up here, if they want to talk about the Bible, they actually have to have markings in their scripture, and they have to show it to us on camera. They got to have the notes. They got to have circles around the verses and everything. Because I'm starting to believe Christians don't actually read their book.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, because I have it marked. Like, if I'm an atheist and I could do this, they certainly could, right?
Yeah, like Crystal has like a million bookmarks.
They just cherry pick their favorite parts, and they pretty much just emphasize the parts they like, and they dismiss the other parts. I mean, the ones that actually do read the book. I noticed a lot of them when you talk with them, they have these highlighted points or parts of the Bible that they like or they think they understand, and they kind of just dismiss the rest of it or anything that contradicts it.
Yeah, I mean, even me being a witch, but I'm also a combat veteran. Like, I mean, I've read, I like to call it the good book, for lack of a better term. There are bits and bobs in there that I really like. There are verses, that are fantastic if you take them in a positive manner, right?
Well, I could do that with any book then. So I don't need this fucking book.
I mean, you can do that with any quote.
Here's the thing. This is the way I feel about that. And somebody else said this, and I'm taking it from it. It is not a good book. First of all, I would never call it that again. But also, if I have a bag full of M&Ms, and then I take a few of those M&Ms and I poison a few of those M&Ms and I stick them in that thing of M&Ms, I'm sorry, I'm not eating any of the M&Ms. Like, I'm not going to take anything this book says as good when there's so much horrible shit in it. Just not.
I can. Well, no, Crystal. I can understand that sentiment as well. Again, I'm very eclectic in my witchcraft. Me being a witch. Yeah. I borrow from Christianity. I borrow from Buddhism and Islamic faith as well. Like, there are good parts of every faith around the world. The problem is it got too people got involved and it got too political.
Bye, Dark. Thanks for
with the nonsense.
Thanks for coming up. Thanks for having you up. Thanks for having you up, Dark.
Thanks for being on top of me. I mean, being here today. I think that there is a thin line, though, Raylan, between culture vulturing and coexisting. Whatever it is that is indigenous to where you are from, I think that is something that's worth looking into. But also, you can just not believe in anything.
Yeah, it's true. And here's the thing. It's not that people got to this. People didn't get to this. People made it. it was made by them. They didn't get to it. It was always by them. It was by a bunch of men who wanted to control other people and get away with all their bad deeds and then blame it on a higher power. Nobody corrupted this. It was corrupt to begin with because it was always from men.
And I will not disagree with you on that in any way, shape, or form because, a lot of the scriptures that are out were written by politicians that had nefarious things in their hearts, and that's not cool. And so they wrote quote unquote scripture, to further motivate the political manifestations of what they were trying to achieve within their religious beliefs. And I think that's messed up. But at the same token, because I'm kind of very, I guess technically I'm an atheist because I don't pray to any deity, but I'm also agnostic. I'm eclectic, which I'm fucking weird. All right. Pardon me. I'm a weirdo. I don't pray to any deity in any way, shape, or form because I'm not certain that there actually is one. And I'm just going to live my life the best I can because I want to live a good life.
That's good.
Just because I want to be a decent human being. Yeah. That is my gold standard. Be cool. Be chill. But I've studied all this and here's me being a witch. My wife's a Buddhist. My daughter is a Christian. My son, he's autistic. He didn't give a fuck. He's an atheist, I guess. We all live under the same roof, and somehow our house hasn't burned down. So, you want to talk about me about coexistence? Right?
Right.
Golly. Live and let live, But, there's some stuff from the Bible that's pretty good,
Tell me one thing.
As I was saying previously,
What's good from the Bible? I want to know because I don't like it.
No, it was. Well, no, me as a combat veteran, okay, and it speaks to me personally. And yes, I did steal it from the movie Fury, but I stole it before it was in the movie Theory. It was the Book of Isaiah, and I heard the voice of the Lord saying, "Who shall go for us? Who shall I send?" And I said, "Here am I, send me." And for me as a combat veteran, it's like, yeah, dude, send me. Let's go. Now, what it was, the previous verses in that book were complete horse shit. I will not give any credence to those. But yeah, I think it was Book of Isaiah, chapter 8, verse 6. I believe it was. I could be wrong. It's been a minute.
Just because you wanted to be sent out there, you need, I could listen to just a battle war cry. I don't need no fucking Bible to do that.
Yeah.
What? Then it's not a deep, thing, it's not even deep or anything. That's what I'm saying. The Bible is just empty, actually. It doesn't have this God. This is God, and he could have given us revelation. And instead, he was stupid. He was so fucking stupid that he told the world that genealogy ran through men, and we now know mitochondrial DNA runs through women. What the fuck? Shut up, you idiot. He's just so dumb. And when he does give you something, it is a platitude. Blessed are the peacemakers, so that they will inherit the earth. What the fuck does that even mean? It doesn't mean anything. There's no meat behind it. There's no power behind these words. Unless you believe that he is God and that Jesus is God. And then you go okay, now there is, because I'm invoking these deities. But then you need to believe Baal is a god too, and Hades is a god too, and that, Asherah and look, oh wait, we don't want to talk about the other gods that are mentioned in the Bible because we got to pretend they don't exist now because he doesn't like it when you realize other gods existed. It becomes just so ridiculous after a while, and the words mean nothing because
I 100% agree with that. I take bits and bobs like passages, like regardless of whether they're from one tome or the other. There are passages that mean something to me, and they can inspire greatness in my fellow humans. I don't give a crap about your faith, right? For me, because I'll get along with anybody. I even get along with people on different, political parties. I get along with Republicans and Democrats, because I'm an independent myself. Sorry to bring that up. I'm the man in the middle. I'm like, hey, you know what, dude? Do your thing. Stay in your lane. I don't give a fuck, dude. If you're happy, you're not hurting nobody.
That's not me. I am the one who says there is no middle. I'm sorry. I'm an independent too, but I have not met a Republican that isn't a supremacist in some form or fashion. And I will, I just can't. I just can't with them. They think they're better than people in some way or another, and whether it's bigotry, homophobia, transphobia, racism, there's always something that they think that makes them better, and that cannot take that. But hey, listen, thank you for coming up. I'm going to go ahead and drop you down. We've had a really great time. By the way, thank you for your service. Godwin said it in the chat.
I was just typing the comment because you were talking. I was typing thank you for your support.
Thank you.
And I'm not one of those combat vets that gets all touchy about, I'm like, no.
No,
somebody says, hey, thank you for your service. Like, thank you for your support. Right?
Yeah.
Well, I'll go ahead and dip out, I guess.
Well, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you.
Oh, yeah. Well, we've been around for a minute. You and I have chatted before.
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
And everything. Absolutely. And it's always been a pleasure to be in your lives.
It's always been a pleasure to talk to you.
You're an awesome person.
Thank you. I really appreciate you. Have a great day.
All right. You have a great rest of your day.
Oh, I didn't mean to cut him. I'm sorry. Have a great day. If you are a believer of a god or gods or a higher power, I've changed the topic now. I want to know what is more powerful than God. Tommy, I'm asking this question because I don't know about you, but when I'm up here and I'm talking to believers, quite often they will tell me that God can or can't do certain things. And I'm wondering what is restraining him from doing certain things? They'll say, well, God cannot go against your free will. But why? What's stopping him? Who's more powerful? Is a bigger being giving him rules? I don't understand that.
There is definitely a bigger being. Mm-hmm. I think Bash said something the other day. I've been chewing on. Believers make their God small. And I know we've heard that before, believers make their God weak and you guys are weak representation of your God. But it just hit me a little different the way he said it. You guys are the only ones that believe that your God can't do it that way.
Yeah.
God couldn't make a world where nobody sinned, nobody harmed each other, everything was just great. Your God can't do that. He has to put you in a world where you build these values that are no longer needed once you get to glory. You don't need to be brave, but he puts you in a world with fear. You don't need to be resilient, but he puts you in a world with trials. When you get to glory, you don't need any of those character qualities. And so it says that believers limit the way that their God could even be infinite, yet they call him this all-powerful being.
Yeah, they give him all the omni properties, but then they also limited him in the process. And that, hey, La Paquette, that is what gets me really confused. Like, literally, when they tell me he can't do something, like he can't do that, why can't he? I don't understand what is stopping him, what is preventing him. Well, you know, I don't know. Like, some of them have even come out and said that God can't do miracles now like he did in the Old Testament because I think he's not allowed to or something. I don't know. It's like some rule or something. That's why we're not seeing them, even though we were told we would see them. I don't know. I don't get it.
Probably because he would get taxed from raining manna from heaven. That'd be a big economic issue. Where are you getting all this manna from?
Yeah, yeah. Connor, I invited you up. Come on up and talk to us. I'd love to hear more about it. The natural world is cruel and merciless. It's God's beautiful evolutionary slaughterhouse. Okay. Okay. Hey, Connor, can I get your age for TikTok purposes?
46.
All right, and you are a Christian?
I don't practice religion, but I believe in God.
Do you believe in the God of the Bible or a different God?
The God of the Bible.
Okay. And do you believe in Jesus or just Yahweh?
Well, from my perception, those are the same person.
Okay, but you do realize there are Jewish people who only worship Yahweh, right? That's why I'm asking the question, was because some people are Jewish. So what is more powerful than God? Why can't God do certain things?
Because he gives you the opportunity to make your own decisions. And if he was to interfere in that, that would mean that you didn't believe in him.
But he does interfere sometimes. Why does he interfere sometimes and then he can't other times?
That would be something you would have to ask him, because he is the architect.
But can we ask him? Like, can we do that and get an answer? Because usually God speaks through people, and if you're a believer, and you can speak to God, I'm a non-believer. If you can speak to God, I would be looking to you to be able to tell me if He's working and living in you.
Well, I feel like you have to have, sometimes you have to slow down and listen to your thoughts sometimes, because that's how he, speaks to people.
Right. So that's why she's asking, what do you think is more powerful than God? Because we're expecting that as you as a believer, that God will influence your thoughts. And so we want to hear from your God through you, and your thinking should align with him as long as your heart is, wants to be in the will of God.
Oh, well, just like when you're an adult and you know what right and wrong is, I mean, it's the same concept, really. I mean, because every person in the world has negative thoughts, but it's up to you whether you
Act on it or not. Yeah, I feel you, but that's not what she's asking. She's saying, what is more powerful than God?
I don't have the answer to that.
But you got to think about it, because remember we said we asked the question earlier and you said you got to ask God. But I'm saying, can we do that? Like, if we're non-believers, or even if I was a believer, if I was a new believer and I was praying and asking God, what's more powerful than you, God? He's not going to speak to me vocally, because he's not a human. He doesn't have a vocal cord. So he has to use his spirit to speak to me. And either my spirit isn't open enough to him yet, and I need other believers around me to help guide me to him? Or is somebody like you that's saying, I believe in him, but he's not speaking to me?
I mean, you make a great point there, but I mean, I'm not a perfect being, so I couldn't answer that for you. So, I mean, I know what he talks to me about, and
Liz,
that's,
you had a good question for Connor. You want to ask him your question?
You had mentioned that God, the way that your God speaks to you is to put thoughts into your head, or our heads as humans in general. Or so is it seems though that when asked a question like this, what is more powerful than God, you don't seem to have an answer. So are you only able to have, like, to think through something like that if those thoughts are put there for you? Or are you able to do that independently?
I couldn't, well, I mean, that would be the whole reason of why he's God. I can't answer those questions for you. And there are people that are further along, have a better relationship than God, that can answer those questions better than I can.
I guess then my next question then would be, if you don't know about that part, like how that part works, how do you know then that it's God putting thoughts in your head? Like, if you can't know this part of it, how do you know that part of it?
That's a good question, but you have to, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. I mean, that's just having faith alone is it's the only thing you have to go off of a lot of the time. And there are things in life that you have to look at. Just life in general is, nobody can explain it. So just like he says, your thoughts are not his. I mean, nobody can explain that.
But hold on, aren't we saying that his thoughts are ours, right? Because he has to right? If you're giving somebody advice, or you have to have the thought first to be able to give it to them. And I would think that it works the same way with the God, right? They have to have the thought, whatever it is, to be able to then put it into your head.
Yeah, that's actually what Romans says. Let your mind be transformed by the renewing of your hearts and your spirits, so that you could think like Christ.
That's a good point, Tommy.
So, you guys just brought up a good point. I'm making a note of it. Like, how can our thoughts not be his thoughts, but our minds be transformed to be like Christ? What? Wait, those things don't.
It's Romans 12. I used to, Crystal, I don't know. Well, I don't know how your church life was growing up. I've heard some of your history, but my church life was really fun. We used to have like vacation Bible school and stuff. And we used to have these Bible drills where they would name a scripture, or they would say like a part of the scripture, and we'd have to be like the first person to find it. I can't remember what it was called, but we used to have to hold the Bible with our left hand underneath it and our right hand on top. And then when they were,
Was it sword drills or something like that?
something like that, sword drill, something like that, something close to that.
Well, Joe has a good point in the comments down here about how God can talk to us to like find our cars, but not like to stop wars and genocide. So it seems like, God, from what I'm understanding, he seems to have this ability to put thoughts in our head, whether or not, it's debatable, I guess, whether he has the thought himself initially, right? But he has the ability to put that thought in our head. So it seems, though, that there's some level of limit of what he's allowed to put in our heads, right? Because you would think an all good God, if he has the ability to put a thought in your head, he would put the thought. He can't remove the thought that I want to do a G side, but he should put a thought in that says I don't want to do a G side. But it doesn't seem that that is happening, or is it up to us to actually do the action once the thought is put there?
Are you there? Connor, did we lose you?
No, I'm thinking.
Okay.
Maybe it's something that he chooses not to do. Maybe that's something that has something to do with free will, and maybe he feels as if he intervenes with your free will, that he, you know.
Connor, I 100% appreciate you actually thinking through these things and giving an answer. I do. And so that's why I want to ask you another question. And I don't, it, it may sound like, like I'm trying to do a getcha, and I hope you can tell that I'm really not. I'm just genuinely trying to talk through some of this with you because I'm trying to understand too. Um, when you say, maybe he chooses not to, and maybe that's because of free will and like not wanting to interfere there. I understand what you're saying, but it's, I don't know. To me, it seems weird that he would only consider our free will when it has to do with something that could be so negative, like preventing a G side. But when it's something like, maybe putting a thought in your head to go for that promotion or, whatever the thing is, then he can violate that free will and put that thought there. You know what I mean?
I do. I mean, and that's something I'm sure everyone, racks their brain trying to understand. But I don't feel like no one person has all the answers to that. So
No, I agree. I agree. And I guess for me it's not necessarily about the answer, because I agree with you. There's no way we can know answers to any of these things for certain, right? But I guess I try to look at it as looking at if we talk about humans, we talk about their fruits, right? And their character and stuff. And if I were to look at Crystal and see that she seemed to be okay with these things that were negative and she's putting these thoughts and feelings out there, I don't know that I would want to be friends with her. Sorry to pick on you, Crystal.
No, I feel the same way. I wouldn't be friends with me either.
So it it just makes me, I guess, question this God figure and say, it seems that there are good things, and people credit good things to this God figure, but gosh, when it comes to the really bad things, we don't seem to have a reason why, if he's all powerful, he wouldn't do something about it, even just putting a thought in our heads to be like, hey, don't do that bad thing, right? It seems when it comes to those bad things, he's fully just hands off. And I don't know, like if it's, if we look at today's climate, we say, man, the people that are out there and, aren't, if you're standing next to an ICE person going after somebody who looks like they're not YT, sorry, TikTok terms, and you just stand there and don't say anything or do anything, I'd be like, ooh, I don't know if I like that person. That's not maybe the person I want to hang out with, because I want them to be able to protect me when something happens. And I don't know, that's kind of how I feel about this God, that they're just letting all these really bad things happen, and it doesn't seem, they're just basically putting the blame on everybody else and saying, well, you have free will and you're allowed to do what you want with it. You know what I mean? I'm sorry I'm rambling. I'm just trying to think through it all.
I get what you're saying. I mean, like it's almost like trying to have the best of both worlds because God helped me find my car keys, but also He didn't want to interfere and stop that child cancer. He didn't want to do that. He needed us to have free will, and it seems to be that the free will argument is very convenient.
Hmm. Yeah,
And Connor, as another brother, I want to say this one thing to you. I think that you're gonna do one of two things. You're either gonna go on a path of finding more apologetics for this faith, and know, try and minister and spread the good word of Jesus and
You're kind of breaking up
gain
a little bit,
souls,
Tommy. I don't know,
toward the kingdom.
Tommy, you're kind of breaking up a little bit. And I want us to hear what you're saying because it's important. Try again now. I don't know if he was breaking up for you guys, but he was breaking up for me.
What about now?
Better. Thank
you. Okay. So you're gonna either do one of two things. You're either going to draw nearer to this faith, learn more apologetics, and start to minister to other people who have been indoctrinated in this faith as well. Or you're going to do the deconstruction is going to all this questioning and this I don't know, but I'll look it up is going to lead you down a path of knowing the history of this faith, and it's who gave it to you that matters the most. If everybody showed up to this building at the end of this block I live on because they were giving away free sneakers. My mom told me to go down there. They was giving away free sneakers. I get down there and they're like, "What are you talking about? We're not giving away free sneakers. This is a line for turkeys for Thanksgiving." Now, they're doing a good thing, so I'm not about to, blow the spot up because they not giving out what I was told they were giving out. But I think the person I'd be mad at is my mom. Why did you say that to me? Why did you let me walk up there? Don't you care about me? Is this a joke? And that's the way I look at, like, once you start to look at the history of Portugal and Spain and how they colonized West Africa, you'll start to feel like, why did you give this to me? Still got your foot on my neck. Why did you give this Jesus, this Yahweh, this whatever? Why did you give it to me? Why didn't the people of the Levant give it to me?
right. Yeah.
It brings up suspicion that's going to make you have to face that question of is this faith meant for you for your good?
I hear that. I mean it's the uncertainty of it all is what I feel like that turns a lot of people away. But for me, knowing what little that I've learned in my life, I use that information for my benefit, and if it can help someone in a positive way, that's that. And I understand why wouldn't he intervene in these bad things happening in the world and things like that. We have no control of those things. So. And
I want to make sure you picked up what I was putting down for you, buddy. If your mother told you a lie, are you inclined to believe her when she tells you the lie?
I'm picking up what you're putting down on that. I mean, that's one tells you one thing and it's another. That's that.
No. That's not what I'm saying. If your mother tells you a lie, are you inclined to believe her?
No, you're not inclined to believe her. I mean,
I would disagree. I would say that in most scenarios, you are more inclined to believe your mother because you would think that your mother would have your best interest at heart, even though we know that not to be true in every scenario. You would be inclined to believe your mother Even when you don't know it's a lie yet, she's telling you something, right? You are inclined to believe her. If in our state as black men in this country, are you inclined to believe white tea people when they tell you something?
Not at all.
That's what I'm saying. That's the point I'm bringing to you. So when you go down this journey of finding the history of how this faith gets to you, you will question, why did the Portuguese give me access to the truth, to the kingdom of God? They want to get to the kingdom of God. Would they really give me that same access and then have their foot on my neck for hundreds of years to follow? It just doesn't compute.
I can understand that. But as a whole, life itself is very complicated. Just to think about how we all got here in the beginning. I mean, just simplest little things. Just existence itself. Nobody can explain it. I mean, so where do you go from there?
Well, you
Well, I
start with the
think
things,
that I'm sorry. Go ahead.
and I got to drop down. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna
Okay.
drop down. I hear what you're saying. I have a lot of questions still, and I had more questions before I started answering some of them. But you start with the questions that you can answer. For a long time in my deconstruction, I started to say, okay, you know what God really is? God is really mycelium, because it was here in the beginning, and by the time everything is wiped out, it's still gonna be here. That's the alpha and the omega. Okay, so like you'll start to answer questions as they come along. That was before I broke down whether this Bible was written for people like me, and now I don't use the text as a barometer of something that speaks to truth. Mycelium is mycelium, has nothing to do with God, has nothing to do with this Bible, and I can just now separate it because I've done enough research to know what mycelium is. But it looks like the neurons in your brain. So if you go on Google today and that's your search, that's the question you have in your mind. What the hell was Tommy talking about with mycelium? You look it up, and then you look up brain neuron activity, or brain activity, and you'll see the same neural pathways that are in your brain. It looks just like the pathways that connect trees hundreds of miles away from each other, on the earth, in the soil. So you just answer a little bit at a time. You'll never, in that journey, you'll never know everything, and you'll find out that life doesn't require you to know everything. The Bible told you that one being has to know everything, and then that being wrote the Bible, but the Bible doesn't speak facts. So it's like, if he knows everything, why would he put a lie in the Bible?
Right.
A lie that I could figure out is a lie, like rabbits chewing cud. I can
Right. I
easily.
was thinking of that one too. I
That's
know.
because we
Rabbits
here,
chewing
friend.
gum.
We twins.
Yeah.
We twins.
Yeah.
Hey, twin, like the Grinch.
Hey.
But yeah, like it's just so many things that we can point out with our um, limited thinking. You know how we can even analyze the limits of our thinking and our ability. Like, of I don't know how to answer that, right? But with our limited thinking, we can discount the facts that are in the Bible. Why would this God that's all knowing, all powerful, be able to do that? Let that be possible. It has to be because he's not all powerful. Has to be because he's not all knowing, and possibly because he doesn't exist.
Well,
I love you, twin. I'll talk to you
I love
later. It
you
was nice meeting
too.
you,
Yeah.
Isa. I'm sending you a follow, and Connor, I'm gonna send you a follow. Hopefully, you come by. Sometimes I do deconstruction for misogyny, which I think is another part of your journey that you'll be on if you so if you get away from this Bible a little bit, and then you're looking for the next thing to um, like deconstruct and think about deeper, is our misogyny and the patriarchy that we live in. Talk to y'all later.
Bye, Tommy. I love you. Have a great day. You guys, Tommy J, everybody, make sure you're following Tommy J. He's an amazing musician, and he goes live, and he does deconstruction content, and he's just really amazing. Oh, I had another guest in the box, but I guess they couldn't wait to come up, so I was going to have them join us. I'm sorry. So for me, though, wondering about where we come from and stuff like that, in reality, and when I really, really think about it, I don't care because I don't think we're going to figure it out in my lifetime. And so, since that question isn't going to be able to be answered in my lifetime, me sitting here wasting any of the time that I have on this earth to think about it, it's just a waste to me. What I do like to do is read what science has to say about it, what are the possibilities that are out there, and that's all very interesting to me. What I do understand, though, is that any time we've had a question in the whole history of forever, okay, when we've really buckled down and searched for the answer to the question, whether it be why the sky is blue, why the sun is hot, what lives in our ocean, every single time we've looked, that answer has always come back to actual natural conclusions. It's never been magic, it's never been miraculous, it's always been natural. So I don't see the reason in believing that anything was ever done with magic or miracles, if you will.
Well, I understand your logic, but also there has to be there's something behind it, regardless of whether we get the answer or not.
Why?
We're here.
Yeah. Why does it have to be something metaphysical? Why couldn't it have been a series of natural events that occurred and throughout time and these events? This is where we are today. This is what has happened. This is what has occurred.
So when you say natural, what does that mean? I mean, if we can't explain,
it means the Big Bang. It means abiogenesis. It means the natural things that occur that we know already exist within our universe. We know they're occurring. We can see it. We can falsify it. We can test it. And we're seeing these things happen, and we know they exist. When we try to find miracles, for some reason, no photos, no videos ever capture it. There's no way to test it. There's no way to measure it. There's nothing because they don't exist. The real world exists. Nature exists. Natural things. And by the way, nature is fucking miraculous. Nature is phenomenal. I don't think we need something outside of it. It's us. It's us and the world we live in and the universe we live in reacting and interacting together.
I hear that. But on the other page you have to also acknowledge that, no one really has the answers. We exist. No one can explain it. All you can do is just live it, and and that's about all I could say. You can't really, just like we only use a small portion of our brains, so
That's
just imagine.
actually a myth. That's actually not true.
Yeah, it's more like we use all of our brains, but we don't use 100% of it at the same time. So when I'm doing one thing, I use one section. When I'm doing another thing, I'll use this section. But we do actually use the whole thing. It's just based on what you're doing, what sections need to be activated.
You use 100% of your brain over the course of a day, any given day. It's just that different areas of the brain actually help us with different things, such as cognitive reasoning or vision or language or planning or memory. Those are all going to be different areas that fire up when we're, so do we use 100% of our brain at one moment? That probably would be overload. That would be overload.
I hear that also, but who's to say just because we're mere mortals, just because someone says something, doesn't mean you should believe it.
Oh, I don't think you should. I think you should look at what evidence they bring forth. I think that if a scientist says, hey, we do use all of our brain throughout a day, I'm going to say, what evidence do you have for that? And he's going to tell me, well, we have MRI scans, CT scans, and several different scientific things that I can look at. And if I want and I have the money, I can actually go have those tests done myself and read them myself and learn about them myself. So I don't have to take anybody's word for anything. I can verify what they're saying.
But you're putting your belief in machinery. That's the thing.
No, I can learn about the machinery too. My husband's a mechanical engineer. He's learned a lot about mechanics and machineries throughout his entire life. He doesn't put his belief in any of the things that he designs. I assure you that. There is no belief, hoping, faith, or anything. He goes through rigorous tests with every single thing he designs, and he has checks and balances in place to make sure that what he says actually will work when we build the part. Then once they build the part, there are more tests done to make sure that whatever he was planning is actually now happening with that part. And they try to push the part beyond its limits so that they can understand how much the part can take. No, there's no belief. There's no faith in that.
I hear you.
I just think that for me, I want to believe as many true things as possible. And this book is horrible. It just says a bunch of horrible stuff, and it says we should believe it, even though a bunch of men wrote it. I know men wrote it because it's so misogynistic. It's latent with supremacy culture. It creates divides, and it has throughout history. And I think that we can, even, by the way, my husband is a mechanical engineer and he still believes that there is a creator God. I don't believe there's a creator God, but he does, and I'm okay with that. But we both agree that no matter what, it's not this God. This God didn't do it. This God didn't create anything. This God was created by a bunch of men who wanted to be supremacists and wanted to be misogynists and didn't care about women and children. And they wrote that book to empower themselves. And a bunch of us thought we related to it, and we appropriated the religions, and made them our whole. Unfortunately, I made it my whole personality for almost 40 years or over 40 years. But it's not that God. That God didn't create shit. Hey, Nancy, good to see you.
If I can, I'd like to point out like a comparison I'm seeing. Right. So Connor, you had said that, like critiquing Crystal's description of like the machinery, and, you have to, put your faith in that. And, luckily she's got Doug, an amazing husband, but that, if she didn't, maybe she wouldn't be able to fully understand those machines and stuff, right? But when I look at the opposite, and we're saying maybe the machine, let's compare that to the Bible itself, right? We have a lot of things in that book that, we can show are not true, and they are very much false. And there's a lot of things that the book promises that just have either never happened or don't work that way, or, whatever it might be. And we have these experts on the book, and even the experts agree that there's some stuff in here that's just not correct, and it doesn't work that way. We've proven this and this to be wrong. So I don't know, when I compare the two things, right? And we compare, I guess in general, it would be science in general, to the Bible and religion. It seems like we have like checkpoints in place with science, right? We've got, like peer review. You can do the test yourself if you're physically able, like things that we can do to make sure, hey, that yes, this is true. And if something ever becomes not true, or we learn more about it and realize it's not, then we go, oh, awesome. We actually like that. Like, let's research this more, figure it out, and then we update our standards, right? I don't see that happening though on the other side, because like I said, we do know, like they happen to mention the thing about rabbits. It's a very small thing, right? It's inconsequential in the big scheme of things, but it's never been updated because that's not what the Bible is supposed to be for. It's not actually an explanation of what's going on around us. It's just a book of what they believed, thousands of years ago, and it doesn't get those kinds of updates and stuff. And so for me, I find trusting like the science more, because it does get those updates and it does get continually tested and whatnot. And when we test the Bible and find things that are wrong, we don't do anything about it. We just say, oh, well, that's another thing to add to the list. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Or we ignore it. Yeah. We lie about it. We ignore it. We do something with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We almost also must realize that we're all just human beings, and everyone makes mistakes, and there's no such thing as a perfect whatever.
Except for like God and Jesus, right?
Well, I never said that. I mean, that's something I don't, I'm just, the thing is, I mean, we're all, the human brain is a very complicated organ, right? So,
absolutely.
And just to think about how are we able to make these machines and all these things that can figure out all these things that the human body does? You know, like I said, there's some architect behind these things. So we evolved from, you know, learning things one thing after another, and we've reached this point in our lives to where we're dominant over the earth, and pretty much what we say goes, far as anything that we have power over. So if a person decides they want to, just like all this craziness that's going on the planet now, and if people decide that they wanted to oppress a whole nation of people, I mean, where do those thoughts come from? Just you have to think about those things. There's something that has been implemented to where we are able to think about doing bad things to people or good things or whatever it may be.
Well, in a natural world, that makes sense to me because in a natural world, um, we're going to have things that happen to the brain. There are going to be brains that are born that aren't going to think like other brains. That all makes sense in a natural world, that there would be people who are evil, who are greedy, who are nonsensical, or whatever. There's going to be a variety of them because the way our brains are developed and because of what trauma can do to our brains and certain events, core events in our lives. Just saying there's a boogeyman out there named Satan and a bunch of demons that we can never see, that we can never prove, doesn't explain it to me. To me, that leaves way more questions. Then I go, okay, where are they? How come, how do we measure them? How do we test them? We can't. So to me, that just seems like imagination at that point.
So so not believing that there's something that created us all is that like a security blanket for some people, or is that, you'd rather not believe, or
I don't have a choice. I don't think that anybody chooses what they believe or what they don't believe. I think that you are given information and your brain processes that information, and it is either convinced of something from the information or it is not convinced. There's nothing I can do to make myself believe right now that this phone is an ice cream cone. Not a damn thing I can do about it. I know it's not an ice cream cone. I can fucking see it's not an ice cream cone. I can try my hardest to imagine it's an ice cream cone, but I'll never believe it to be true because my mind is not convinced of it. My mind is convinced it's a phone. So I don't believe I get to choose what I believe. I'm either convinced or I'm not.
you always have a choice.
No, I don't. Okay, let's do that. Let's do a test real quick, Connor. Okay? I want you to believe that this phone that's broken as hell, that this phone is an ice cream cone.
I know it's not an ice cream cone.
All right, and I can't convince you otherwise, can I?
No, you cannot. But I mean, but the
Right,
thing
because
is,
your mind doesn't believe it. Your mind is not convinced just because I say it, because you have eyes that are giving you a different evidence. Your eyes are telling you, wait, dude, we're not convinced that's an ice cream cone because I have information on your eyes. My information is telling you I literally can see she's not holding the ice cream cone. So your brain goes, I'm sorry, the eyes are giving us information that is too powerful. We cannot believe that that's an ice cream cone. Now, maybe something would happen and I can do a magic trick or something and I turn it into an ice cream cone. And then maybe your mind goes, okay, wait, now we have new information because our eyes are seeing something different now. And then your brain might change its thoughts, okay? But that's what happened with me is that I was convinced for 40 plus years that there was a God, that he was the creator, that every word in this Bible was 100% true and accurate. I believed that for 40 plus years. But new information kept coming into my brain more and more as my life progressed. Little things, little pieces, like the fact that my father died on the table for 7 minutes and saw no God, even though he was a devout Christian. Hang on, let me let my cat out. And like the fact that my son went to MIT. He got 3 degrees. He's one of the smartest people I know. And he started telling me, hey, mom, I don't really think that this story is true. And then I had to start looking at some of the stuff he was saying. Like, snakes don't have vocal cords, they can't talk. And like, there's not enough water on the earth to actually flood the earth. And then the more evidence that just kept coming forward, the less my brain was convinced. And because that happened, I can't make it not be. So it's not a choice. I'm not choosing to not believe.
I understand. I do. I understand what you're saying. It's a hard thing, but we can talk about these things until we're blue in the face, but the only time we're going to be convinced is when we leave this earth. And if there's not an other side, if there is, there's not a thing we could do about it either way.
That's true. You can't. And there could be a Muslim heaven when we all get done here. There could be, some kind of other religion we've never even heard of. We could be in that hell. Well, everybody goes to hell in somebody else's religion.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
My
Well, go ahead,
philosophy
sis.
has always been, um, uh, you don't know me, Connor, but I've never been a believer. I grew up not understanding any of this stuff and was never like, you know, given any of these stories as a child. So I had zero grounding. And so for me, the way that Crystal is feeling right now is the way I've always felt. Like I grew up and I was like, what do you mean people believe that, there was a creator and stuff? That doesn't seem to make sense to me. And from I've always just had the feeling that, once I learned that there's these different gods that people believe in, and I just try to live my life as a good person, and that's really where I keep my focus on, helping other people where I can and being a generally good person. And at the end of the day, like when it's my time, if that isn't enough, what I've done isn't enough to get me into the good place at the end of the day, if there is one, then I probably don't want to go to that good place because the right people probably aren't there if they weren't doing the same type of things I were doing. And if there's a God that doesn't agree with me on that, then I don't know, I question them. And again, I probably still wouldn't want to go to that quote unquote heaven because the wrong people are going to end up there.
You make a good point with that. I mean, yeah, it's that's all you can do is try to be as decent of a person as you can, and
Mhm.
and whether you believe or you don't believe, I feel like the whole premise is to be a good person and help people.
Right. And that's where I just try to keep my focus and my energy. Like I can spend a lot of energy like trying to dig into the truth behind everything. And, for some people that do, like, hopefully that's what they're doing as a job and they're getting paid, right? Because there's so much stuff going on in the world, especially today, and I can only put all of my energy into so many places, and I have to pick and choose where that energy goes to. And I can't spend, hours and hours trying to dig into, the history of things and how we got here and all this stuff. I'm relying on other people that are, getting paid and are way more educated than I am to figure that out. And if they figure it out during my lifetime, awesome. And then I will know. But, that's not something I feel like my energy is going to be best spent. So I'm going to put it where I think it needs to go and what makes me happy and fulfilled in my life. And then if I find out more, great. If I don't, okay, I still had what I consider a happy and good life. I did what I thought was right. And like I said before, if at the end of the day there is a God, that should be to me and my morals what matters. And if it's not, then I just don't align with this creator, and I probably wouldn't want to be in that same place with them anyway because my morals wouldn't align with them from the beginning,
Absolutely, I agree with that.
Yeah.
And I feel like in a lot of ways life is very simple. Far as having morals and integrity and respect for others and things like that. And I feel like even if you're not a believer, in my opinion, you're still on the right track. If you have good morals and integrity and love for people, I feel like I can't make the rules for life, but in my opinion, you would be a shoe-in, even if you weren't a believer. So and far as far as you know, people that refuse to, you know, be decent and good to people, there's not much we can do about that either. But do your best to, you know, stay away from that type of situation. But
I think I can agree to an extent, but I think it's important to point out again, I've brought up the current state of the world a couple of times, and I think it's dangerous in a way to say, there's really nothing we can do about other people and what they're doing. We may be limited in what we can do compared to other people, or we may be limited as a single individual, but if nobody does anything about, the current state of, like ICE around the United States, or, what's going on in other countries as well. Again, I'm trying to not say certain buzzwords just
Thank
to
you.
keep Crystal safe. But I think we all can understand what I'm talking about. I think that can be really dangerous. And I don't expect that I'll be able to go out on the street and, just my little self take care of an ICE officer, but if I create community around me and we, do something as a group together, that is more likely to be possible. And I know, right now it's fucking scary out there right now, honestly. And
Yep.
It's harder and harder, it feels like, every day to find ways to do something. But I think if we have this idea that, there's nothing that we can do, then that's even more dangerous.
right, I feel like people that have good intentions in the world. I feel like it is our burden to want to have peace everywhere, but you can want it all you want to, but there's always going to be a pushback. There's always someone that wants to see the world burn.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think you've seen the worst thing in your life, there are worse things that people have experienced. And to even think about that, it is something that kind of hurts your heart, knowing that you can't do anything about it.
It's hard. It really is. And yeah, Skeptic says, like, orange madness is, there's nothing that we can necessarily do about, the orange man specifically, or, this person specifically. But I think we need to try to do things that are more broad. If we're focusing on, just a specific person or whatever, yes, it's more difficult. But even as Tahir mentions in the comments, even just educating people about what's going on is doing something, because like a lot of these people, like a lot of things going on in the world, we don't even get to see them on the news anymore, right? So these people that are going out and doing like this TikTok journalism, it may not, seem like a lot, like when you look at it on paper, or, oh, well, they're just on TikTok, but we wouldn't know about half of these horrific things that are happening if there wasn't somebody out there doing it and telling everybody. So although it's not necessarily directly tackling, the orange person, or whoever it is, even education and speaking out is something.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's not easy to find. I know I've struggled to find like where I can fit with, helping with everything that's been going on, especially because, there's not just one thing going on, it's 500 at the same time, right? Where I can fit into that and help. But sometimes it's like I have to take myself back 10 steps. I would love to be, closer to closer to the action, closer to doing things. And I know that that's just not within my capacity. So I, do things like talk to people like you on TikTok Live. I help out with online communities. I help my friends.
Help me.
Yeah. And I know that, you know, I don't do lives myself, but my friend Crystal here does. And she's got this phone that is trash. So I'm like, oh, I don't have a lot of money. You don't have a lot of money, but you know what? I do have a phone that I'm not using because I upgraded a few years ago. I just moved though, so I need to find it. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I know I packed it when I moved. So I'm trying to find it, and hopefully we can that, or if you get the money beforehand because you need a phone, but like things like that, because then I can help her to boost her productivity here and helping, communications and spreading news and whatnot. So it's kind of like people that are doing these things, they need people in the background supporting them too. And I feel like that's, for me personally, where my role is in helping all of this. I'm not a frontline person. I'm not a middle line person, but you know what? I sure as hell will be in the back. I'll make a document for you. I will, help you figure out a cool way to earn money to help with this cause or something. Like that's where I feel like I fit. So even though it doesn't feel or seem direct, it is still helpful.
Very helpful. Also, like, she's my friend that I go to when I need some very level-headed advice, especially when it comes to things that I'm doing within my community of deconstructing these religions. And I turn to Liz all the time and say, "Hey, have a minute. I need some help with this." So
we've
also
probably been on the phone for like at least 10 hours this week, just
just this week, yeah. There is a book that you all should know about, and it is available in the Deconstruction Junction Discord. That link is in my bio. It's under the resources, and I think that everybody should know about it at a time like this. And although it was written a very long time ago, if you just use a little imagination, you can update in your mind what you need to do. It's called Simple Sabotage Field Manual. It was written in 1944, and it's basically a guide for ordinary people living under occupation on how to slow down an authoritative system from the inside using low risk, everyday disruption rather than violence. Okay, so the core idea is that bureaucracies depend on speed, obedience, and smooth cooperation. So the manual focuses on messing with those things by encouraging behaviors like do everything the slow way, over explaining, excessive paperwork, constant requests for clarification, insisting on proper procedures, make meetings a nightmare, drag discussions out, revisit decisions repeatedly, add irrelevant agenda items, demand committees, subcommittees. Weaponize the rules, follow rules so strictly it becomes impossible to function, refuse to improvise, insist on approvals from higher ups, break coordination, forget messages, delay responses, miscommunicate timelines, send people to the wrong person or department, create inefficiency everywhere, not in a dramatic way, more like constant small interruptions, mistakes that require redoing work, confusion that forces extra steps. It is very important that if you can, just look it up. It's absolutely free. It was declassified. You can find the PDF online. And if you can, stick it in a Discord or two that you're in. It's called Simple Sabotage Field Manual, and it was written in 1944. And it helps when you are under occupation by an authoritative regime.
Yeah, I'm going to need to look that up and take some notes. It reminds me of the people, I don't know if you guys see them on your TikToks when you're scrolling, but they will take up a bunch of time from solicitors that phone call solicitors and scam callers. And try to pretend like they're really following through and giving them money, and they're not in the end, to take up as much of their time as possible so they can't call somebody else. I love those.
It's amazing. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, exactly, Faith. Restaurants could just, stop feeding ice. Hotels could stop supporting them. We also can stop giving our money to corporations like, Hilton, and every subsidiary of Hilton, if they are going to continue to house ICE and take away franchises from people who refuse to. I'm just saying, our money counts, and we can slow things down for those. Like, just screwing with the hotel where ICE is staying at is going to help. Like, make calls and just keep the people on the phone for the whole time, and go in and ask a million questions at the front desk while they're all waiting to check in or something. You know what I mean? You you have the power to do things that are very passive aggressive, if you will.
I think Tahir is saying you need to check the YouTube.
Oh, no. What? It's no, I still have Crystal DJ YouTube. Oh, is there a message on it? I don't know if I could see it. Let me try. Remember, I don't have a second screen, Tahir, so I can see if I can try to pull it up over here, and then I will answer. Yeah. Oh, maybe I can't. Deconstructing.
I wanted the word cuppa, as in cup of tea, I thought would be great to mix with
just a quick reminder,
when I saw the domain was available, I was like, I'm taking it, I'm trademarking it, I'm going with it.
But
hi, I'm Aaron, I'm the owner of Cuppa Pug. We are not a traditional cafe. When I saw Cuppa Pug go live, that's when it all clicked.
We're already at over 100 shares. I appreciate that. But tapping really does help. We had a lot more people in the stream. And it dropped off, so we got to get those numbers back up. Connor, thank you so much for coming up. If you're still in here, you are more than welcome to come back. That was a great conversation.
It was. Okay, I see remember before cell phone video, after all those decades of police abuse was denied until everyone has the ability to video them doing it. Yeah, and now they're trying to
I tried a ton of AI work tools. Then I tried Monday.com. Game over. Monday.com is super easy to use and knows how to do AI right. I use it for insights and action suggestions constantly, especially on those back-to-back meeting days. And my team used Monday Sidekick to work up all kinds of marketing content for the different platforms. So stuff that takes my team hours is now done before they even open their laptop. All these AI features are built directly into Monday.com and actually use our real data. With Monday.com, AI isn't some over-promising future. It's here. It just works. Like, actually saves us time and resources kind of works. Monday Sidekick. AI you'll love to use. Start a free trial today at Monday.com.
I was supposed to be coming to a warm state, and I think the cold followed me here. And it's not fair.
No, that's not fair. It's probably in the 80s.
It's supposed to be coming to a warm state, and I think the cold followed me. What is going on? And it's not fair.
I don't know.
It would be my luck.
It's
but thank you for following me on that trail there. I know, I sometimes try to. My style of debate or communication can be different than other people's, and sometimes they're like on that trail there. I know, what you're doing or where you're going. Try to, no, I promise I have my style of debate or communication can be different than other people's, and sometimes they're like, I don't really understand what you're doing or where you're going, and I'm like, no, I promise I have a yeah, I thought so too. I hope he comes back.
Absolutely. I'm gonna try to play music for you now. We're gonna try because my album came out last night at midnight.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I'm gonna try to play my new song for you. I'm gonna try to play music for you now. We're gonna try. This is what I'm working with. My album came out last night. Oh, by the way, I told my daughter about you, and she goes, "Oh my God." I don't know. I might have an extra phone, but she just moved. What I'm working with, you guys. But by the way, I told my daughter about you, and she finds it first, or you find it first, I will let the other one have an extra phone. But she just moved too. Remember, I just need a working phone.
Yeah.
Eventually, I'll say that I go buy a good phone, but just a working one would be nice. I will let the other one know. Okay, so this is my last song on the album. Is for some reason, maybe it's just because it's the newest one that is my favorite right now. I don't know. Maybe that's okay. So this is my last song on the album, but it is my favorite. I think maybe it's just because it's the newest one that is my favorite right now. But I don't know. Maybe that's what I do. Maybe it's an indictment because Hagar is the only person in the whole Bible who names God. And I did an Auntie sermon about this. So make sure you check those out there in my Discord. The link is in my bio. Is the only person in the whole Bible Hagar names God the God who and I did an Auntie sermon about Christian, Liz. So make sure you check those out there in my Discord. The link is in my bio. But God yeah, Hagar names God the God who sees and loves her even though she's an Egyptian slave girl. Oh my God, isn't that sweet? Oh my God. And God, I don't know, as I revisited to write the sermon, did you like my impression? Her even though she's an Egyptian slave girl. Oh my God. I started thinking, like, wait, I don't know, what if it's not to write the sermon, did you like my impression? What if it's an indictment?
Love.
And so that's what this song's about. I started thinking, like, wait, what if it's not a compliment? What if it's an indictment? Maybe. And so that's what this song's about. She's calling him out, and here it is. You're really not you saw it. Wait, please, maybe. You're really not gonna. Wait, please. Men didn't have the nerve to name you, not with truth, not with blood on their hands. They spoke around the nerve to name you, not behind the power on their hands. They praised what you did for them. They trembled as you gave behind their power. They wouldn't dare think to name you. No, that would be my claim to fame. They praised what you did for them. I didn't bow when you found me alone. No one else to hear what I sing to name you. You didn't offer a name for me to whisper, so I named you from my view of you. I didn't know you didn't offer me a covenant. No one else to hear, no future, no claim. What I had was a body for a trade, so I named you from my courage to that day. You didn't the God of covenants, no altar, no future, no claim. What I had was a body for trading, and the courage to give you a name. The God who sees, nothing outside your view. You saw it, you saw it, you saw it, you saw it outside your view. The story's been told for generations, passed along from voice to ear. I called you the God who sees, but it's not how it appears. The story's been told for generations, passed every 10 voices to view. I called you the God who sees, but it's not how it a little more. It's like a game of telephone. On every home isolated, afraid a body alone in a borrowed land. You saw me doing what I had to do, trying to obey the every command. You saw the cruelty, saw it plain, saw it handing over like a toy. You saw what was taken again and again. You saw my body and heart destroyed. I saw it plain, saw it handing over like a toy. You saw what was taken again and again. You saw my body and heart destroyed. I would have found me there in the wilderness and set me back and set me free. But you found me, the God who sees. There is something kind. You said you saw my heart, said it was part of your design, and it was never meant to compliment. I named you the God who sees. You said you saw my heart, said it was part of your design, and it was never meant to compliment. I knew nothing is God who sees, that it was all there for their bruises, their abuse. You see the men who harm them while claiming they worship. All and do nothing is noble. You see the suffering, you see it all from your throne. That is the last song on my album that just released last night at midnight, Ex Parte. It has all the songs that you guys like. That is the last song on my album that just released last night at midnight, Ex Parte. It has misogyny, Ex Parte. It has No Kings, No Gods, Abelina, Ballerina. So make sure you check that out. That misogyny, Ex Parte, and then do no one little extra thing. And if you're on like Spotify or something like that, go and write a little review for me. I'd really appreciate it. I am not the singer. I am not the musician. Those are done by one little extra thing. And if you're on like Spotify or something like that, go and write a little review for me. I'd really appreciate it. I am not the singer. I am not the musician. Those are done by Suno. Does it ever make you think, as a person who is always a non-believer, when you hear us tell these stupid stories, do you ever go, wait, Crystal is relatively smart. Make you think, as a person who is always a non-believer, did she not realize that wasn't an indictment when she was a Christian? Do you ever go, wait, Crystal is relatively smart.
This is what I think that feeling is what I'm talking about when I'm like, I don't understand it and I can't comprehend, because I never, like, honestly, I know that you're a smart person, right? I know that feeling is what I'm talking about when I'm like, Jason, like all of these people, I don't understand it and I can't comprehend. These people who are so smart, because I never, like, but you know, I know at the same time it's like I never had. I guess it would be the only thing I could, Jason, like all of these people, like these people who are so smart. If I still to this day believe in Santa, at the same time, it's like, I never had that. I guess it would be the only thing here, because it's like it's such a related, a brainwash. It's indoctrination, and if I still to this day believe in Santa, that's the only thing I can compare it to. But I lost that so young, because it's like it's such a, it's hard to really brainwash. It's indoctrination, how how that's the only thing I can compare it to. But I lost that, and part of me, of course, wishes I do, because I really like to understand, comprehend how, obviously I'm grateful for not having to have from that gone through that. So it's a weird part of me, of course, wishes I do, because I like to understand, but obviously I'm grateful for not having to have gone through that. So when I have it's a weird epiphanies, I go, place to be in to try to really understand. I am not stupid. How did I? It must be. It must be, because like it's the indoctrination. For me, when I have epiphanies, I go, oh my God, like myself. I am not smart, stupid. How did I fall? Right? Like I did get out. It's like the indoctrination. It took me a long time. But the reality is, people that I was indoctrinated. My entire family, which is my entire trust. It took me a long time. Those are the people I trust the most. We're a part of this, right? My entire family, which is my entire trust system, right? You go like, those are the people I trust the most. We're a part of this, my whole family, my whole support system. Also, we're indoctrinated and really believe this. It becomes so you go hard. Like, hey, yep, we are brainwashed and conditioned. My whole community, my whole family, my whole support system. Also, we're indoctrinated and really believe this. I think the most weird part for me now as an adult, other than just genuinely not understanding the feelings that you guys have, is also, I think the most my family weird part for me now as an adult, it just other than never just genuinely not understanding the feelings that you guys have, is also honestly to the point my family. I didn't even know what it just the Christian belief was. Like I knew nothing, absolutely nothing. And like then honestly one to day, the point, I didn't even know. Told this story, like my friend mentioned the Christian belief. Like I knew doing a little bit of research, but like the little bit that I had, I was like, one day, like this doesn't make any sense. This is clearly just told the story, and then I started to realize, oh no, I kind of started doing a little bit of research, but. Like the little bit that I had, I was like, happened to come up with my parents. This is clearly just in the stories, and then I started to realize, oh no, something about me, fully believe this. And of course, I don't believe in God. One day, of course, it happened to come up with my parents, and as we were in the car, my dad was so disapproving and said, "Did I teach you nothing?" And well, of course, you literally didn't, Dave. Of course, you literally did not. And like, what do you mean? My dad was so disapproving. It's like I was supposed to just absorb the information. No, you literally did this or something. I don't know. You literally did not. What do you like? What do you literally talked about it? It's like I was supposed to just absorb the information through osmosis or something. I don't know. Like, she goes, What are you talking about?
My mom said this nothing, and I said,
My mother
no, you
never
didn't,
had
but
this sex
that's
talk
neither here nor
with me,
there.
and then when I
But
got
no, Mom, you didn't. You never had
that
that talk.
same thing with me. They didn't have that talk. I didn't have a talk about, like just the changes that a woman will go through. Maybe TMI, I'm not going to tell everything, but it happened for my first time when the babysitter was there. And I had no idea. I thought I was dying. I had no idea what was happening.
God.
And I'm bawling to the babysitter, and she's like, because she's in high school or something, and she's like, what did your mom never tell you about this? I'm like, no, what in the hell is happening to me right now? And so she had to explain it to me. And I mean, I asked some stupid questions like, do I have to wear something at night? Like, because I'm like, does it turn off when you go to sleep? I don't know. And like that's how much I had no idea. I had no idea. I was the most innocent. And it like they just never really talked about anything. It was weird.
I had a bunch of girlfriends, so we knew what a period was. We didn't understand everything. Don't get me fucking, crazy, or we didn't understand it. We knew we were going to have one. We knew that we would bleed for 7 days. That's what we thought. Okay, exactly. This is exactly what we thought. You will bleed for 7 days, and it will be like once a month for 7 days or something like that, right? So we knew that was going to happen. But when I started my period, that's all I knew was that I was going to have one, right? And that I'm going to like bleed for 7 days. I don't really understand what it's doing, why I'm doing it, or anything. And also, I don't know how to use anything, okay? And I had older sisters. I had older sisters. I didn't ask them anything because they were assholes. They would fuck with me if I went to them to ask them or something. So I didn't really trust them anymore. And well, actually, my oldest sister had already passed away, to be fair, and my other sister was doing her thing, and she wasn't really an asshole, but she was probably not even living at home. I don't know. Maybe she was. I don't know. But we weren't close enough for me to go and ask her. So instead, I just read the tampon box, which doesn't really explain everything to you. You know what I mean? So there was some uncomfort. We'll just say, we didn't really understand the whole process at first, but we learned, and we didn't learn because my mom taught me. We learned by trial and error and talking to our friends. That's what we did. Hey, Nick, how are you?
Hey, I just wanted to answer the background question.
Okay.
What is more powerful than God?
Yeah.
A series of toys that I sell at work.
No, they don't sell the one that is the most. They don't sell that one there. They sell okay ones, but not that one.
This mild hot sauce packet is more powerful than God because it makes me happy, and God doesn't.
A woman giving birth.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
A woman being able to get a C-section and then clean her house the next day.
Wow.
And go grocery shopping. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, I knew this woman once upon a time ago named Nick. I don't know if you guys ever met her, but yeah, she had a C-section about 10 years back, and then the next day she got out of the hospital and they went grocery shopping, went home and did laundry and cooked dinner.
Damn.
Yeah, she was a pretty powerful bitch, I think.
Yeah, she sounds pretty badass. I gave birth to 3 children, but I did not have a C-section, nor did I do shit after I but probably my first child, I probably did some stuff because I was with an asshole my first marriage. That was my practice husband though. And once I got the new updated husband 2.0, I picked the Doug model, and that was a much better experience for me all around.
The Doug model.
Wait, I'm going to use that phrasing from now on. That's wonderful.
Yeah, I had a practice husband, and then once I developed my skills on husband pickery, I got much better at it, and yeah, improved much.
The scientific method. Look at it working everywhere in our lives.
Right. Exactly. Oh man.
I was in Jaren's live for like ever. How long have you been live now?
Since 2.5 hours.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry I was missing it. Dang it.
That's okay. Everybody was live, and I knew that. I was like, you know what? I am okay. So I don't know why I went live at 11 instead of 10, other than this week has been a little wild for me, in case anybody hasn't known that. So I think I was just all discombobulated that I had forgot that I wanted to go live earlier. But right at 10, Joel went live anyway, and I was like, well, I guess it doesn't matter if I go live at 10 or 11. It's going to be a slow day anyway, right? So I decided to take some time to clean, and I worked on my next Auntie Sermon, which is going to be about Zilpah. This and the more women that I do sermons for, the more I am like, why the fuck is any woman anywhere, anyone who identifies as even femme in any way, what fucking soever, why are you picking this God? Get away from this God. This God hates you.
I understand why men are attracted to this religion. I don't understand women. I mean, that poor Nick girl I was telling you guys about, it was the same. She was a Pentecostal for 16 years, and she didn't realize either.
No, we talked, I don't know if you were here for the last sermon I did, but it was on Rachel. And her name means you, and she was very young, so that means she was a little lamb. And we're taught that like Jesus is this lamb that sacrificed for us or whatever, but it's bullshit. It's not true. It is the women of the Bible who sacrificed everything for everyone, every single person on this whole fucking planet. If this story was true, actually owes everything to women, because women, first of all, he says he took on the sins of the world. Fuck you. You did not. Eve did. Eve took on the fucking sins of the world. Okay. Not you. All right. And then and then women sacrifice their bodies for the lineage. They sacrifice their names, their accolades, their everything. Jesus didn't sacrifice shit.
I think I'm going to quote that from now on. Jesus didn't take on the sins of the world. Eve did. That is beautiful. Fuck, I'm so mad I didn't come up with that first.
It's just the fucking truth. It's just the fucking truth, man. And the more I go through this Bible, the more I see how evident it is that every single good thing women did or thing that they're blamed for, like it is just men are fucking taking all the accolades and putting all the blame on women. That's all they do. They just steal everything good and put everything bad on us, and it's horrible. They took how we give life, right? Like they were like, oh, they're the life givers. No, let's make it seem like we are. Let's call our sperm seed. No, your sperm isn't seed. Your sperm is fertilizer.
It's fertilizer. Not even the premium grade, let's be real.
Right? No. Not even the premium grade. And then they said, oh, okay, women were life givers, and then there was something else that they did, and they were like, oh, let's take that from women too. I can't think of it right now. I can't think right now. I'll think of it in a minute. They're always fucking stealing from us. Jesus didn't take on the sins of the world. Eve did from the beginning to the end. bitches. But that's why I guess I'm an angry atheist, right? Like, I guess because I keep reading the book. The book makes you pissed the more you read it. That's the thing I was going to say to you, Liz, is the more I read this book again, right? And I'm writing these sermons, doing the non-believers Bible study. I'm up here talking to Christians. The more I'm convinced that the reason why very smart people like myself, Nick, and others also fell for this shit was because we also lied to ourselves and others about how much we read ourselves this book, okay? And I know for a fact that I used to always say, oh, I read the Bible and I've read it several times. But now that I'm reading it and I'm going, wait, did I? Did I ever just really fucking read this from cover to cover? I know I never read it from cover to cover. I knew that. But I thought that over time I had read the Bible. But now I'm convinced I was just a liar.
I did read it from front to back, cover to cover, but then I realized that just because you read something doesn't mean you're comprehending it. And I think
ADHD, so I might have just like whoop, squirrel, while I was reading it. I don't know. That could be.
Yeah, I read stuff all the time, and I'll read a paragraph and then look at it and go, wait, I don't remember one fucking word in that entire thing. Like, I have no idea what just happened, and I have to start over, and sometimes I can get my mind to actually focus and do it, but I think that it's so easy to convince yourself that you have read the whole thing when the people that are in charge are only telling, like, go read this part, go read that part, go read that little part, because like you don't understand that they're trying to steer you away from the negative parts. And if you happen upon a negative part, they have, some level of excuse for it, but they don't want you to really try to find it if they can prevent it at all, because then it makes their job easier.
Yeah, they have an arsenal of apologetics to explain. Yep.
Hey, The Melted, welcome to the show. Can I get your age for TikTok purposes?
Yeah, I'm 28, and it's great to see you.
I love that name. The Melted Chapsticks is so relatable.
It's my band. Yeah, it's good fun. I just wanted to say, what is more powerful than God? I would say the host is, and I'll tell you why. I'm going to call out to the more than 4,000 gods. Do you have a cup of coffee there? What do you have?
I have a soda.
Okay, good. Set it down. Set it down.
Okay.
I'm calling out to the Abrahamic God and all 4,000 gods. Here is your chance to show us. Please lift the can up. I'll wait.
It's right in front of you guys, right here.
Okay.
And all you need is the faith of a mustard seed, y'all.
That's it. That's it. All right. Now, host. We've given gods the chance. Now you lift the cup, the can. Well, I'm going to start worshiping you. You're awesome.
All right.
Hail you. Quickly, CrystalJae. Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
I'm glad we've solved it.
That's awesome. Well, that's amazing. Look at that. I'm more powerful.
I don't know about y'all. I've converted.
You know, some asshat Christian out there is going to be like, God compelled her to lift it.
Well, what about that Old Testament thing where I think Elijah had a fight with another prophet to bring fire down from heaven? If they could do it back then, why not do that today? Why not make it easy for us just to say, hey, I'm God, not, hey, I'm a story, Zeus, Odin, Thor, or the Abrahamics. That is a failed creator that destroyed the earth with a flood, which unalived 3 million in the Bible, which loves blood sacrifices, which burns pigeons, rams, and things, and then his own son. So it's kind of like It's just a first pass to explain stuff, but we're not illiterate shepherds anymore.
I heard a Christian on one of these lives before explain that it's because it's more fun that way. Like, when you are, at your daughter's deathbed with cancer and all this stuff, and you're trying to pray and ask why and what am I supposed to do. It's fun. It's supposed to be fun for you. It's like a game, like a little puzzle to figure out. I 100% that is an explanation I've heard even within the last month.
That's crazy.
So ridiculously wild and not even in the good way.
It just sounds like ridiculousness to me. Every excuse I hear sounds more and more ridiculous than the previous one. Like, I don't know. We can't do them now because, we've separated from God, so we can't do it. And we can't do any miracles. And then when Jesus comes back, what are you talking about? That's not what the story says. The story says we sure the fuck would be able to do these things. What are you talking about? Nowhere does it tell us that there's going to be this time where you will stop doing it. It actually says that I will know you're a Christian because you can do the fucking magic. That's how I'm supposed to be able to tell.
You'll do greater works than me, it says. Yeah, so it's unfortunate. I think the real problem is this, is not only that really God doesn't want us to eat shrimp or lobster. He never spoke about the virgin slaves that he commanded after wiping out cities to keep, promoting slavery in the New Testament. But just make sure you don't eat the lobster, and all these other things are permissible. It's just disgusting. It's Bertrand Russell said this: if you want to be a Christian, have others read you the Bible. You want to be an atheist, read it yourself.
Yeah, that's true. Douglas D.O.K. said, am I wrong, but didn't people perform magic or miracles in the Bible to prove God's existence? Yeah, Jesus said that's why we're going to be able to do them. That's why we're going to be able to do greater things so that his Father could be glorified. And that anything we ask in his name, we will receive so the Father could be glorified. And so I guess he doesn't want to be glorified because he's not doing any of that shit. I guess he gave up on that ambition, huh?
Oh, you know what? That's a good question, though. Skeptic mentioned Red Lobster in the comments. Why are the Christians not outside Red Lobster and protesting?
What did they do?
It's the atheist restaurant, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not me coming from a church that when we did the potlucks, there'd be at least 3 people who brought shrimp rings. I'm just saying.
I bet.
Exactly. $14.99 at the supermarket. I'll eat 3 of them. Yeah, it's just terrible. I think also when religion gets into politics, like Sharia law or Christian nationalism, they want to take women's rights away. And I just think if you want, as Christopher Hitchens says, if you want to play with your toys, play with them at home. I do not want to play with your toys. Keep your God to yourself. And that's it. And this has been so enriching because I do a lot of live. So the next panel I'm on, they're going to say, who do you believe in? And I'll just say, I worship critically CrystalJae. Who's that? She's the lifter of the soda can. I love you all. Have a great day.
Thanks. Have a great day.
Bye.
I gotta let my dog out. I'll be right back, you guys. I'm just walking over here, though. I can still hear you. Go on.
Shit. Well, if she can still hear us, I guess that means we should behave, yeah?
Yeah, I guess no talking shit right now. We'll have to wait till later.
Yeah, I'll message you. Don't worry.
Hey, Earl. Yeah, it's been a interesting last couple of weeks, I think.
It really has.
Understatement.
I'm ready, I think, for things to normalize. I mean,
define normal.
Well, you know, at work we have this thing, and we'll go, "Are you okay?" And we'll be like, "Okay, normal person are okay, or our level of okay," and it's always our level okay, and then it's like, "Yeah, I'm all right." So we have to define what level we're talking at, because let's face it, where I work, nobody is okay.
What's up, Nick?
Earl, what's up?
Not much.
What is more powerful than Odin?
I don't believe he literally exists, so.
Yeah, I know. I was just trying to tie in the background. Shit. I tried. I'm sorry, Crystal. I tried.
I appreciate it. At least I got an honest answer, right?
Do you want me? You want me to engage as a pagan without a brain?
No, that's okay. You could do a Christian without a brain. It's much easier.
I don't think I could be a Christian. I've never been a Christian.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I
haven't either, but the answer, I have never been a Christian either, but the answer is obvious. Nothing is more powerful than God.
I mean, iron, apparently, according to the Bible.
No. We don't. No.
We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about the Iron Chariots.
We don't talk about Bruno. No. Oh, I can't sing too much of that. YouTube will get me taken down. Yeah, we don't talk about iron. We don't do that. Okay.
I mean, I could do the Christian thing for you, Crystal, but it seems to scare a lot of people when I do because I'm so good at it.
I know.
So what's your tips, Nick, for the goatee?
ChatGPT. So this picture, it is me, but it is AI because it's more of manifesting than anything. And it makes me look like a sexy bastard, so.
Yeah. If I was to say what was more powerful than like gods besides iron, I would say love.
I know that Christians like to believe that God is love because the Bible, in fact, does say God is love, those exact words. But the thing is that his characteristics just don't match what they say he is. So I would have to agree with you. Love is more powerful than God. But then again, anything human or that comes from humans is more powerful than Yahweh or Jesus.
More specifically, a parent's love for their child. Yeah, that's what I would say. Because I would sleep happily in an orange jumpsuit if anything happened to my son. So, yeah. Yeah, I would say that's more powerful. I mean, if I had to take on Thor to protect my son, I would.
Yeah, there's pretty much nothing I wouldn't do for my kids. So I told them, though, to be fair, there's a line drawn if it ends up being them against each other. You know what I'm saying? like you can't make me go, well, I murdered my sibling. Now do you still love me?
I've been trying to place this. I've been trying to place this ever since I got up here. You sound like Melissa McCarthy.
That's what some people say. I like that. That's nice. I'll take it.
No, it's like uncanny.
I just don't like it when people say I sound like Roseanne Barr. Then I get it.
Yeah, and I don't understand that one.
I don't know if it's I'm too close to you, but I don't hear either. I just hear Crystal. I don't know.
I don't hear it either, especially if I go listen to them. I'm like, my voice is a lot more raspy and stuff. And also Roseanne Barr has an accent that I just do not have. I didn't grow up anywhere near her, and we don't have the same accent. Well, you guys, we're going to be closing up shop in about 15 minutes. I want to do a real quick reminder that last night, my album, my Deconstruction album that I wrote the lyrics for, I used Suno for the music and vocals, was released. It's called Ex Parte. It's available everywhere you stream music under CrystalJae is the artist. Also, I have another album out. It's an EP called A Seat at the Table. And it's a really good, powerful little EP. It's about 12 minutes long. It's a really good listen. And make sure that if you do listen to it, give me a review wherever you can. You don't see what I don't see. Oh, you don't see. Okay, okay, I get it. You don't see the Roseanne Barr and the Melissa McCarthy. I'm gonna play you guys the hit. The hit. It is a hit. Okay, no, the the title track from the album Ex Parte. The song is Ex Parte. This is written based on a book by a woman named Judith Plaskow, and I'm just gonna admit it right now. I haven't even read the book yet. I heard about the book. Love the concept of the book so much that I went and wrote a song about it. But I wrote it from an ex-Christian perspective because Judith Plaskow happens to be a Jewish woman. So our perspectives are a little bit different. But the story is basically this. It's based on the book by Judith Plaskow called Revisiting Sinai. And what it's about is that women were not a part of the covenant. We were never asked to be a part of that covenant. So my song is about that and also kind of indicting Adam and God for trying to pin everything on women. So this is my song Ex Parte from the album that came out last night at midnight, Ex Parte.
I hope I'm not late to the party. I've got something to say. And I want every gentleman here to have a front row seat for this ex party. Ex party for the ladies. One side talks, one side stays mute. You carved your covenant in marble, but forgot the feet that swept the pews. We bore the sons that filled these seas. You signed the pact without the wind that bleeds. Call this part to order, heaven and earth, bear witness today. Let the record show from the garden's first spring, the blame had a woman's name. Two men sat in the shade of a tree, Adam and Yahweh writing history. They needed a scapegoat, they signed the brief. From that moment on, sin's name was Eve. Leave two men alone, it's always the same. If they can't find a woman, they'll make one to blame. This is my ex-parte, my one-woman plea. You created calamity and tried to frame me. You called it divine, but the terms were deceived. I stand unbound with chains at my feet. Oh, at that night's peak, no woman was hurt. Shekinah silenced, her faith secured. Let the judge and jury see. The law can't bind what we didn't concede. The contract is null as defined. May the record show no woman's side. We never needed a savior or lamb. Because the truth is, sin's name is man. His name is man. Oh, in the land of Egypt we lit the flame. Our mother's prayers, our songs unashamed. We worship the heavens, the stars, the sea. We knew the truth before their decree. The sign of the men left us behind, abandoning women, blind leading the blind. We bore the children, we kept the fire. They stood on our backs as they climbed higher. Once our rituals were pure, hands in the earth, spirit sure. With Asherah raised, they gave us no choice. But no God, no man can silence the war. May it please the court to hear my battle cry. We denounced the God, we denounced the lies. The pens were theirs, the scrolls they made. It is man's guilt and man that needs saved. Rise up now, behold the power. It's time they bow. Fight out was never ours to share. Without the glory, there's no guilt to bear. is no. Oh, as defined. Made the record show no woman's side. We never needed a savior. Oh, yeah. Because the truth is, Sin's name is man. Yeah. Sin's name is man. Yeah, the truth is, Sin's name is man. Sin's name is man. Sin's name is man. Sin's name is man.
Oh, I don't want to hear that song right now. Oh no, I'm not gonna be able to stop it. You guys, I can't do anything on my phone. Wait. I don't know how to stop it. I'm just gonna end the live here.
Just try Alt F4.
Okay.
Oh.
I'll try it.
Oh shit. Never mind.
Just turn it down all the way.
Oh, that's a good idea. I'm sorry.
Just turn the volume off.
Well, I was thinking of trying to use the controls. I wasn't thinking about because at first I tried to shut my phone off and it still kept playing. Okay, that was very. Yeah, that.
Yeah, Nick, I forgot. Nick, I forgot how well hated I am in like pagan communities. I was reminded earlier today.
I think most of us are, if we're gonna be honest.
Dude, I fucking went live and they were like, "Oh, we know who you are." I was like, "Oh, do you?" I was like, "Are you a pagan that like rejects like academia, like just for the sake of it makes you feel good?"
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, "Oh, you're the dude who knows everything." I was like, "I literally have a piece of paper where it says I can tell you that you're wrong."
I have this specialized piece of paper in my hand.
I literally like I tell them all the time, like I didn't spend like almost 10 years of my life with staying up like all hours of the night studying this for you to tell me that you know more than me. Like I have an ego, sure, but I've earned the right to have it.
I can't wait till I get to that point. Like, yeah, well, this piece of paper says I know more than you about God, so, shove it.
Are you in seminary?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, I only did like 1 year of seminary, but I stopped because I couldn't stand the other fucking people. Like all the like nepo babies that are in there, like the dudes who really got God said they're my daddy's money are just like so ridiculous.
I really love my professors. I have, of course, you guys know Father Mark, and then I also have Deacon Magdalena, who is absolutely a phenomenal source of wisdom when it comes to history. And then, of course, I also have the incredible, amazing Rabbi Hannah. So I got a pretty hardcore panel of educators that I'm learning under. So it's definitely been a phenomenal ride so far.
That's cool.
Yeah, I just like, I remember sitting down on the couch with my dad when Vikings, a TV show, came out on History Channel, and he was like, "This is going to be bad for us." And he was right. It was horrible. And even though my dad is still a Yahtzee, like even at that time, he was like, regardless of if we disagree, we can both agree that this is going to be bad for our theological claim, right? And he was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, it's going to be bad.
I don't know if you were in my live when this happened, but there was this Christian who was starting to spiral out. And he's like, the Vikings did human sacrifices. I'm like, sure, cite your source. And he goes, that TV show on Netflix. And I just about died.
No!
I was done. I was done.
He's wrong and right.
Wrong and right, but I wanted him to cite those sources, and yeah, that's what he went to, was that show on Netflix was his exact wording.
Dude, the only time they ever did that was in like severe times of resource scarcity or climate change, like climate disasters. They only did that like once.
Nick, my favorite time somebody cited a source, I don't know if you were there or not, but it is still my favorite is when Justin was trying to get somebody to cite their source and he was being so cagey about it. He didn't you could tell he just really did not want to tell Justin what his source was. And this went on for a while until finally he was LinkedIn. Go to LinkedIn, go to this guy's profile, and he was citing LinkedIn as a fucking source.
I think my favorite, and this will always go down in history, is the claims that Jeff for Truth was making. And he was in a debate with Rabbi Hanna, and Rabbi Hanna kept saying, cite your source, cite your source, cite your source. And he goes really quiet, and then he goes, my book. And I was done. And I think that one will forever go down in history because that is the most money grubbing, trust me, bro, I've ever fucking heard in my life. Yeah. Cite your source in my book.
Jaron did that in his debates. My favorite debate moment, though, by far, is when they said, you have 3 minutes or whatever the fucking amount of time Jaron had was. So he said what he had to say, and he goes, I have 3 minutes. I could use it any way I want, right? And they go, yeah. And so he ate a fucking sandwich.
Started eating a sandwich.
It was so good. It was beautiful.
It was just the best. It was.
I couldn't imagine being roasted or be in a debate about theology by Melissa McCarthy, but I've seen it now. I can imagine Critical just saying, are you fucking serious? And then doing the laugh, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Hey, if Nightmare Fredbear is online sitting here debating Christians, I think Melissa McCartney can do it too.
Dude, there's a famous drag queen who does it too.
There is a video in one of my latest videos, so it's not even that far back, where because people say that I'm like Melissa so much, you know that scene where she just cusses out that lady at the bank or whatever, and she's like, God, Jill, you're such a fucking asshole or whatever. I posted that because people always call me my alter ego Dark Crystal, and I kind of talk like that when I'm Dark Crystal. So it fit.
Yeah.
I feel like if I were to compare Crystal to a Melissa McCarthy character, to me, Melissa McCarthy as Sean Spicer.
Okay.
What did you ask me in the comments?
What's that on?
What did you ask me in the comments?
I was asking if you knew which drag queen, because
it's he primarily guesses, or she primarily guesses. Sorry, she primarily guesses in people's lives, and she goes into Republican lives or MAGA lives, and says I'm famous, and they're like, no, you're not, and then she shows a photo of her on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Shut up.
They're like, oh, really? You are? I think his name's Mike the Drag Queen or something. Or Bob the Drag Queen. That's it.
Bob goes on
Bob the Drag Queen is debating Christians?
Hold on.
Christians and MAGA.
No.
Christians and MAGA.
I am going to, it is my life mission
Dude,
now,
I was on a panel.
Bob into the junction.
I was on a panel. I was on a MAGA panel.
And Bob on my Decon Q&A.
I was on a MAGA live, and she came up, and I was like, "Are you Bob the Drag Queen?" And then all the other people in there were MAGA. They were like, "Do you know who this is?" I was like, "Yeah, you guys are screwed." And,
oh my God. I mean, I follow Bob, and I see them live often, but on their own platform, just like chatting or something. I've never seen them on a, oh my God, literally, that would be, my whole life would be fulfilled if we could get
a lot
Bob
of
into the
famous
dumb show.
people who do like debate lives who guest don't have their live status on for guesting.
Yeah, and that's sad. You know what? I'm going to send you a follow. If not, if you see them, please send me that live because I got to get in. I have to just to listen. Oh my gosh, I love
Dude,
Bob.
some of the like responses to the Baga that I think it's they, or is it, I don't know. We'll just use they for gender
I just do
neutral.
that to be safe.
Yeah, so like one of the things that they say to the Baga people when they make like a crazy claim or like say something like horrendous, she just goes, "Girl, please," or they just go, "Girl, please," and they freak out. And then whenever the guys get in their like super masculine, like overcompensating boots on, they say, "Do you need Bob to come give you a hug? You need a hug from Bob the drag queen." And they freak out. Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic.
Typically, most drag queens, if they are in drag, go by she, and if they're not, it just depends on their personal pronouns.
Yeah,
and because
I don't
know that, I usually just say they. But
did you threaten my friend Thrail this morning with Jormungandr?
Yeah, I was talking about I was trolling this morning. Yeah, I was. I said, look into Nidhogger and what happens there, because I was just trolling. Yeah, that was wrong, but yeah, I was trolling.
Do you want to apologize to Thrail? That's my friend. Don't troll people.
Yeah, I know. I get in a mood sometimes. That was wrong of me. My bad, Thrail. I was trolling this morning.
Well, you guys, it is that time for me to shut down the live, but I want to thank you all for being here. We did not reach the gift goal, but that's okay. I will be back. Let's see, today's Friday, right? I don't even know what day it is after the week we've had. It is Friday, though, right? Because I literally can't look. It is Friday?
Today?
Yeah.
No, it's Thursday.
Okay, but I'll be back tomorrow. See, I don't know what day it is. It's just all running.
I momentarily panicked because I'm like, what do you mean I missed 2 classes today? So you had me going for a second.
I really can't check. I can't see, okay? I can't see what day of the week it is. Anyway, okay, and also, in case you don't know, like, because of my background, I can't see on this either because it's white lettering and my background up there is white, so I can't see up there either. So I'm not dumb. I just can't see what day it is. But anyway, I'll be back tomorrow. And tomorrow I'm going to try to be here at 10 a.m. instead. Please go check out Ex Parte everywhere music streams. And then go head over to Joel Reads Bible and tell Joel